I'm going to turn off the Zoom. Just go
Your
ahead.
Honor, could I just say something, please? Your stream has been compromised. There's a lot of haters in your stream, and I think it's been tweeted out on an account with 40,000 people. They're bullying Holly in the chat. I've already alerted Rhonda. I just wanted to make you aware of that, Your Honor.
I don't know who was speaking, but
is dated June 7th, 2016, correct?
I don't see it yet.
Oh, Your Honor, could you allow us to share, please?
I'm sorry. Let me fix that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, number 13 is coming up. So as 13 comes up, Ms. Bone, I'll ask you, in the year 2016, you were 16 years old approximately, right?
Yes, I was 16 and in school.
All right. And so if you look at page number 2 of exhibit number 13, you'll see that there was an entity called Futuristichub LLC, which was created, and that the managers of this entity is Chrissy Martin and Brian Martin, correct?
Yes, I do see that. Yes.
All right. And Chrissy Martin was Mr. Martin's first wife, right?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that your name is nowhere on exhibit number 13 as being a manager of the Futuristichub LLC entity, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I didn't authorize
right.
any of this.
So let's move on to exhibit number 20, please. Exhibit number 20 is a petition for divorce filed January 10th, 2019. And it was filed by Chrissy Martin, the petitioner. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then I want to briefly show you exhibit number 41. During the same month of January 2019, you see that the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit issued an opinion on January 16, 2019, which was just 6 days after that petition for divorce. And this opinion basically affirmed the federal court judgment concerning Mr. Martin. You see that?
Yes, I see that.
All right. So then let's go now to exhibit number 21, which is the final divorce decree between Chrissy Martin and Brian Martin. And it was filed March 12th of 2019, about 2 months after Chrissy filed the petition. And specifically, I want to refer you to page number 1781. And on 1781, it states in the first full paragraph, it's further ordered and decreed that respondent Brian Martin is awarded the following as his sole and separate property, and petitioner Chrissy Lee Martin is divested of all right, title, interest, and claim in and to that property. And specifically, I want to refer you to R3, which is that Swiss bank account in Chrissy Martin's name, the one that we were talking about yesterday. Do you remember we had some testimony about some money that started in Switzerland and ended up in Carolyn Martin's account? Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I believe so, but I don't know much about this. This isn't something that I would know. So no, I don't.
I understand.
Yes.
I want to go to the next page, page 1782, and it talks about another piece of property. On paragraph R7, it says, all duties, rights, title, interest, copyrights, patents, intellectual property, taxes, and earnings, past, present, and future, to his YouTube channel, Futuristic Hub Business. Do you see that? Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did, but she had no right to put that in there.
All right. But you would agree with me when you say she had no right to put that in there. I'm going to get back to that paragraph R7 in a moment, but now we're going to go to,
Can I ask, was this signed by the judge, the final decree of divorce? Can I just see that?
yes, Your Honor, that's where I was exactly headed, page 1788. Okay, Miss Bone, let's take a look here. On page 1788, this final decree was signed March 18, 2019, correct?
It says so, yes.
All right, and it also has a judge's signature on it. I can't read it, but it has a judge's signature. I'll represent to you that this is a certified copy of the divorce decree because I obtained it. And it looks like that Miss Chrissy Martin had counsel named Camille Borg. She signed it as well, and it also appears that Chrissy Martin and Brian Martin both signed that document, and they consented to it as to both form and substance, right?
Yes, I think this is something you're going to have to ask Brian about this, because this has nothing to do with me. This is to do with his ex-wife and himself. So I don't know what was going on during this process.
Well, Ms. Bone, I think what's going on here is that you have continually stated to this court and testified under oath that you created Futuristic Hub in October 2012, and you have operated it, and you have created all the videos on Futuristic Hub. But would you agree with me that at the same time, Brian and Chrissy Martin created Futuristic Hub LLC in 2016, and Brian Martin was awarded Futuristic Hub LLC in 2019? True?
No, I don't agree with that at all.
All right, so it's still your position, as you testified today before this honorable judge, that even though these documents show that Brian Martin was awarded this property, you still contend that you created this property and this channel when you were 12 years old, right?
Yes, that is right.
Okay. Let's talk about that for a moment. Do you remember when I asked you in a request for production of documents through your attorney to produce
Yes.
all written documents to me from the year 2012 to 2019 to show you had any ownership in Futuristic Hub? Do you recall a request for production to that effect?
Yes, I do. But like stated, Brian Martin, he
Right.
managed me, and he had a lot of, like, all this stuff that you've showed me since yesterday has been due to his management. So that I can't argue that,
Okay.
because I was a minor. So I can deal with that sort of thing, if that makes
So, Ms.
sense.
Ball, here's what I want to ask you. I would like to ask you to tell the judge what documents you provided me through discovery, which shows that between the years 2012 and 2019, that you owned the Futuristic Hub channel and that you created all the videos on the Futuristic Hub channel. Do you understand that question?
Yes, I do. I have everything in evidence with my attorney.
All right. Very good. I would like for you to direct the court to your exhibit that you just testified about, which shows that between 2012 and 2019, you were the owner and creator of the Futuristic Hub channel.
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. I don't think she's aware of everything that has been produced or the significance of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to ask her an exhibit number, but if she could at least refer to a document, what document she's relying on, I think that's perfectly fair.
Well, I don't know that she has the sophistication to know this. When I put her on cross, we will go through every single document.
Okay.
So, Ms. Ball, is it fair to say at this point in time, you are unable to direct the court to any document between 2012 and 2019, which shows that you were the owner of Futuristic Hub?
Yes, because I gave everything to my attorney to deal with. This isn't something that I can deal with right now. My attorney has all the information to prove that this is my channel and this is my stuff.
Is your answer yes to my question, Ms. Bone, that you don't have any documents at this time that you can show the judge?
Not currently, no.
Thank you. Right. Okay, Ms. Bone, I now would like to refer you to exhibit number 17. We briefly looked at it yesterday. It's the Google receipt. 1 month, it shows a payment receipt of $80,000 roughly. Another month, it shows a payment of roughly $102,000. Would you agree with me that these are payment receipts by Google as it relates to the monetization of revenue for the Futuristic Hub channel?
Not
Object to the question. I don't believe she has any knowledge about what that document represents. She did not prepare it.
I'm going to object to Mr. Dubose testifying for the witness, Your Honor.
Yeah, I agree, sustained.
Okay, Ms. Bone, let's try again. Would you agree with me that exhibit number 17, those two payment receipts represent the monetization of revenue that occurred regarding the Futuristic Hub channel?
I cannot agree.
Object again. This is not a witness who has knowledge of the creation of that document.
Your Honor,
She can say she knows or she doesn't. She just needs to say.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I don't agree, because also the fact is I don't know what this is. Like Gene has already stated that this isn't mine, it's Brian's. It's to do with his Google payment receipt or whatever that is. But I can't say that this has anything to do with Futuristic Hub because I don't see anything over that. There's nothing, there's no words that I can see related to my channel. So I don't know.
all right, let's take a look at exhibit number 36, please. Exhibit number 36 is a Google document which has been admitted into evidence, which shows that $290,000 were deposited into the court's registry, correct?
Yes, I do see that.
And would you agree with me that this $290,000 represents revenue received from the Futuristic Hub channel?
Yes.
And I object that I don't know that she knows anything about this document.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to Mr. Bose constantly coaching the witness on this issue.
Yeah, I'm going to say this one more time, Mr. DeBose, that if she has knowledge of this, she can testify. If she doesn't have knowledge, she just needs to say she doesn't have knowledge. But I really do feel at this point you are coaching her, and you and instruct you to stop doing that.
Okay.
All right, so Ms. Bone, let's make sure I'm clear with your answer. You would agree with me then that the $290,000 on exhibit number 36 represents monetization revenue from the Futuristic Hub channel, correct?
I would say that's something that's been taken from my channel, yes, because I didn't get payments during that time, I would say. But this
All right.
is going by my knowledge.
With that said, would you agree with me that this $290,000 referenced in exhibit 36 represents 3 months of monetization revenue from the Futuristic Hub channel?
It's possible, yes, but like I said, I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. So would you agree with me that based upon your testimony relating to exhibit number 36, that the Futuristic Hub channel was monetizing revenue in a manner to which you were receiving approximately $80,000 to $100,000 per month from the Futuristic Hub channel?
Yes, I would agree with you on that.
Very good. And regarding the Wildcraft channel, would you agree with me that since you created it sometime, I want to say it was maybe around 2019, 2020 timeframe, that you have been receiving monetization revenue of approximately $40,000 per month for that channel?
I would actually say between 30 to 40,000, yes.
Very good. Thank you. So let's talk about exhibit number 26, please. Exhibit number 26 is a post-marital agreement that you and Mr. Martin signed, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And I think exhibit number 26 was a result of that non-suit that we talked about yesterday of the divorce petition, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And regarding this post-marital agreement, did you have an attorney represent you?
Yes, I believe I did.
Was it your intent by signing this post-marital agreement to create separate property for you prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin, as well as after the marriage of Mr. Martin?
I'm not too sure I understand. Prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin, I had no knowledge of his lawsuit. After, in August 2020, that's when I found out about his lawsuit. So that's how I see it.
All right. Would you agree that when you executed this post-marital agreement, it references property which you owned prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that this post-marital agreement also references any property that you may come into after the marriage of Mr. Martin was also supposed to be your separate property? Would that be true?
Yes.
All right. Was Mr. Martin represented by an attorney related to this post-marital agreement?
I'm not too sure. As far as I'm aware, it was just the one person, but I don't know. I'm not sure I'm understanding.
All right, so it's your testimony, I believe, that you contend you created Futuristichub channel and the videos prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so let's take a look at 1746. Page 1746, please. And I want to refer you to the paragraph in the middle of this page, which states, the parties agree that the separate property of Holly Martin includes, but is not limited to, the separate property listed on Exhibit A, any and all interest in any business operated or owned by Holly Martin, and any and all income arising out of Holly Martin's separate property. Do you see that? I read 3 bullet points from the paragraph in the middle of that page.
So it says the parties agree that the separate property of Holly Martin includes, but is not limited to. I'm not too sure I'm understanding what I'm reading here.
All right.
These sorts of things I don't understand. It's not my area of expertise, so I don't understand.
That's okay. Well, let me break it down. This agreement is attempting to identify your separate property and what it is. The first bullet point says the separate property listed on Exhibit A. The third bullet point references any interest in any business that you own. And the second to last bullet point references any and all income arising from your separate property. Do you see that?
Yes, I do see that.
All right. So would it be fair to say that based upon what I just read, you would expect that the Futuristichub channel would be listed on Exhibit A? Because that was your separate property prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin.
Well, it specifically says there that you just stated about separate funds and income. So that's what I would assume is the same thing, because Futuristichub makes me my income and it gives me my allocations. So it's the same thing. I'm not.
I agree. All right.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, because Futuristichub business makes you income, that would it be fair that the Futuristichub channel and the videos would be listed on Exhibit A to make it clear to everyone that the Futuristic Hub channel and the videos are your separate property.
Well, that's the thing. It is my separate property. That's why this was made, because I know
Okay.
for a fact that these are mine. So yes, it's.
Let's take a look at what Exhibit A has to say on this particular issue. I'm going to refer you to page number 1757. And I'll let you read it. And it goes on to 1758 as well. There's one item on 1758. So Ms. Bone, my question to you is, can you identify for me if the Futuristic Hub channel and the videos which you claim you owned prior to the marriage of Mr. Martin is listed anywhere on Exhibit A?
Okay. I'm a bit of a slow reader, so could you bear with me, please?
I take as much time as you would like.
Thank you. I can clearly see number 4 literally indicates my business and my income and interests. So that would be Futuristic Hub.
So in your opinion, paragraph 4 references Futuristic Hub even though it's not written in there. Is that what you're telling us?
Well, in my mind, yes, because that's the only business that I have that was making income. YouTube channel, sorry, not business.
Okay. Do you see the words Futuristic Hub listed anywhere else on Exhibit A?
No.
Now, would you agree with me that the reason Futuristic Hub is not listed on Exhibit A is that Mr. Martin had no intention of agreeing that Futuristic Hub was your separate property because it wasn't, and if he did, he would lose control of it?
No, and absolutely not. Futuristic Hub is mine. I will keep saying that because I'm not going. I'm just being honest and I'm telling the truth.
Ms. Bone, you stated a moment ago that you had an attorney represent you regarding this agreement, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Was it the same attorney who handled your divorce and non-suit?
I believe it was, yes, but that's just me thinking because I'm not too sure, but I believe it was.
Did you select your attorney?
I found one online.
You've also testified in this proceeding that Creamworks Animations was your channel as well, right?
Yes, that is correct as well. Yes.
What year did you obtain that channel?
I believe it was 2018.
All right.
I think early 2018.
Is Creamworks Animations listed anywhere on Exhibit A?
No, it isn't either.
These channels, Futuristic Hub and Creamworks Animations, were making you a lot of money. Would you agree with that based upon your previous testimony?
Well, yes.
All right. Is there a reason why these two assets, because they were doing so well for you business-wise, that you would not want to put them on Exhibit A to make sure that there was no misunderstanding about who owned Futuristic Hub and Creamworks Animation?
Well, I didn't think I would need to put what would be needed in that. This was actually quick as well. So like I said, I'm not very good with this sort of thing. So if I didn't know it was the law that I had to put my channels in that specifically, so because I just didn't want to. It's just, this is probably how it just went. So I can't answer that question. I don't know.
So let's take a look at page 1759 which is Exhibit B, which references Mr. Martin's separate property.
Okay.
Is the Futuristic Hub channel listed anywhere on Exhibit B for Mr. Martin?
Not that I can see.
Okay. Is the Top Trends channel listed anywhere on Exhibit B for Mr. Martin?
Not that I can see, no.
Now, would you agree with me that the reason Mr. Martin did not want to insert the Futuristic Hub channel and the Top Trends channel and the Creamwork Animation channel on Exhibit B was that at this point in time of this agreement, the Fifth Circuit had already affirmed the federal court judgment of $18.5 million, and he didn't want those channels in his name because then he knew that my clients would go ahead and attempt to execute on their judgment.
Like I've said before, the Creamworks animations and the Futuristic Hub animations YouTube channels are mine. And if it comes to whatever these is also another question that you should ask Brian, because I'm telling you that these channels are mine and they're not his, except Top Trends, that's not mine.
Okay,
I don't
well,
claim that.
let's look at Exhibit B, the third paragraph. It has language that says, all sums of cash in the possession of or subject to the control of Brian Martin, together with all interest income, blah, blah, blah. Then it talks about banks, savings institutions, or other financial institutions. You see that language?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Then let's take a look, go back to Exhibit A, which is your document, Exhibit A, page 1757, and let's look at paragraph 4 that you said makes you believe that Futuristic Hub is yours. You see on paragraph 4, it says all sums of cash in the possession of or subject to the control of Holly Martin, together with the interest income, mutations, enhancements, increases regarding money on accounts of banks, savings institutions, or other financial institutions, has the same language as Mr. Martin's, correct?
Yes, I do see that. Yes. But this was supposed to just separate me and him and our separate property. This was specifically what this is for.
So you would agree with me that since there is the same language regarding money in different types of banking institutions, and you claim you're relying on paragraph 4 in Exhibit A to show that that references Futuristic Hub, based on your testimony, Mr. Martin could just as much rely on paragraph 3 in Exhibit B that Futuristic Hub falls under his separate property. So it's really fair to say that this document is very ambiguous as to who is the actual owner of Futuristic Hub. Would you agree with that?
I'm really not understanding.
That's fine.
As far as I'm concerned, this document just separates our property. That's it.
Do you think your husband is a respectful man?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe your husband tells the truth all the time?
Well, to be honest with you, he doesn't tell me things sometimes, specifically like the October injunction that I had no idea about. I only found out about that when my channels were locked out, and he didn't tell me anything until that happened. So that's when I had to jump into this case. So
All right.
that's an example. So he doesn't always tell me everything because he knows I might not be able to handle it. And he's right. I'm barely even being able to handle everything that's happened to me, and I'm just trying to pull through.
Do you think your husband has respected these judicial proceedings, in your opinion?
I can't say because I don't know.
I want to refer you to exhibit number 44, please. I will represent to you exhibit number 44 is a text exchange between your husband, Brian Martin, and my client, Brandon Keating, which occurred after the court denied your attorney's request to strike my expert witness. And I want to refer you to some statements made by Mr. Martin. He states at the bottom, breaking laws to rig a trial. Listen, man, whom you have a judge breaking laws you already lost. He then states up toward the top, you can ask your lawyer. That judge has no business being a judge. Congrats, you have a corrupt, biased judge. Cheaters lose. Don't forget that. Do you think those are appropriate statements for Mr. Martin to make during this judicial proceeding?
If I'm being completely honest, this is a talk with my husband and someone else. This has got nothing to do with me. So I don't know why you're asking me to characteristic my own husband. So I'm not going to do that. Out of respect, I don't want to say that my husband's a bad person because I know deep down he's not. He's upset just as well as I'm upset that everything's going downhill for me because of all the drama that he's done and he's got involved in the past just to protect me while I was a minor. I didn't know anything about this lawsuit that he was in, and obviously he would want to protect that. He wouldn't want me to get involved at a minor age. I wouldn't be able to deal with any of that. I don't understand what you're asking me to do, but if you're asking me to characteristic and tell you that my husband's a bad person, I'm not going to do it.
I'm asking you, Ms. Bone, to tell this court whether or not you believe the statements made by your husband in exhibit number 44 were appropriate. That's a simple yes or no answer.
Well, I don't know because I don't know what this is about. So I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about animation. I think it's your opinion that you are an animator and you've been doing it for 10 years using the Cinema 4D software, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like for the court to allow my expert to play a short excerpt from a video. How is the best way to allow him in?
Oh, is he not in the Zoom right now?
No, Your Honor, he is not.
He can join the Zoom and share screen. I don't know.
Do I just need
Yeah.
to send him the Zoom link is all, and then he can join right in?
I'm not sure what's happening here.
I'm
What
not
do you-
either, to be honest. I'm not sure. Are you?
I'm just using my expert as my IT guy, so to
Okay.
speak. And I just want him to play like a 20 or 25-second video for me because he has it on his computer. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, what is this computer? Have I seen this video?
Is this
Yes.
is this an exhibit?
Yes, I have forwarded all of the videos. It's a video from exhibit number 4, the Piggy Book 2, Chapter 3 versus Baldi, Sonic, Mario, Roblox, Speedrunner. I apologize for all of the unusual names, Your Honor, but it's on the exhibit 4 list.
Okay. Well, first off, let's deal with the first issue. I'm not dealing with admissibility at this point. 4 has not been admitted. Actually, let me double check. 4
Yeah.
has been admitted, apparently. So let's.
I'm not sure I have seen it. Is exhibit 4 a list of links? Or
Exhibit 4 is a list of videos on the Wildcraft channel. And I'm asking this expert to play a 25-second excerpt from this particular
So
video.
let's deal with the technical issue and then we'll deal with the legal issue. So the technical issue is, how does he share screen? Is he with you? He's not on the Zoom?
We sent him the link, Your Honor. He's in the process of joining. He is in Toronto, Canada.
Okay, let's let him join.
He
I
has
have not seen-
he should have the ability to share screen.
Okay. And then we'll deal with the issue of, is this admissible? And what I would suggest, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that he wants to play a video that's listed in Exhibit 4. Let's call that Exhibit 4A, but we're going to need an email that whatever email link is being, or whatever video is being played needs to be sent to my court reporter if it's admitted.
I thought the video was already admitted, Your Honor.
I think
On
what's
Exhibit 4.
is Exhibit 4. My understanding of Exhibit 4 is just a list of the videos, not the actual videos themselves. Is that not correct?
That's what I agreed to when I said it's admissible. I was not dealing with, and they never said they're going to bring up some of these things in it. I think this it was going to be used to bring something up to the screen.
So let's do this. He can play the video. You can offer it as Exhibit 4A. I agree with Mr. DuBose that I don't believe that all of these videos listed in 4 are admitted, because we don't, unless you provided a copy of them to my court reporter, we would. I'm always thinking about, if this goes on the Court of Appeals, they need to be able to see this. So you'll need to provide a copy of whatever he's about to play if it's admitted to the court reporter. So is he on now? I just let somebody in.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Ethan Acios Posantis.
Go ahead and share screen the video, please.
And so I guess, Your Honor, while he's doing that, it was my understanding, by me providing exhibit number 4, by listing the approximate 40 videos and the links to those videos, that all of those videos were admitted. That was the basis of me preparing that spreadsheet in the manner that I did.
That was not what I agreed to. I thought it was just a list, because we've been using it as, oh, are these the videos that were put in such a place? And that's what I agreed to.
And further, Your Honor, Ms. Bone testified that she created all of those videos on Exhibit 4. They're her videos, so she has no basis for an objection.
I agree with that this should be admissible. I just don't think it's I agree with Mr. DuBose that Exhibit 4 is just a list of the exhibits, a list of the videos, I guess, with links. And then, because we can't, if we provide this to the Court of Appeals, we can't just give them links to a YouTube channel. We're going to have to give them the actual videos. And so this needs to be provided to the court reporter so she can produce it in electronic form. So you're offering Exhibit 4A, is that my understanding, Mr. Capua?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection to 4A?
No, Your Honor.
4A is admitted. You can play the video.
Mimi, Giraffe, we've got the batteries. Is the radio working? Sure is. Let's get this thing working. Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Greetings. We can hear you. This is Settlement 6.
All right, we got one. Move over, darky. Hello? This is the safe space thingy. Are you there?
We're looking for communities to trade with. Please meet us at the Old Oak.
Old Oak? You got it. Come on, guys, let's go. I don't know. Something doesn't smell right.
Oops.
That's
I'm
good.
sorry.
Thank you,
Must have
Mr.
been the carrots
Posantis.
I had this morning.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Your Honor, before I start asking Ms. Bone questions, I know yesterday that Ms. Bone and Mr. Martin were sitting together, and today that they're not. Would it be possible to request that they sit together during this portion of her testimony?
I'm a little concerned with some of the outbursts that Mr. Martin has had, that I may need to exclude him from the Zoom. I don't want to do that, but if he continues to have outbursts like he has, that he may need to be excluded. And so I'd rather have them in different places so that I can exclude him. So
Very good, Your Honor.
if
That's
there's
fine.
any-
I'll proceed.
You can
Ms.
proceed.
Bowen, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I did not mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Ms. Bowen, would you agree with me that you, according to your previous testimony, that you created this video? 4A.
You're muted, Miss Bone.
I don't even see her.
She's right there.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I did create this video.
And would you agree that in this particular excerpt, that it all was created in one location?
This specific scene was in one room, yes.
All right, would you agree that it also contained the same characters, right?
Yes,
And would you also agree that there were approximately 20 cuts? And what I mean by cuts are camera changes.
different camera angles, yes.
Tell the court how you created these cuts.
Well, it's pretty easy because with a camera, you have different keyframes. So at the bottom, you can automatically click an auto keyframe. So you have the camera and you click the keyframe where you want it. And then you have, if you want to cut it immediately, you keyframe where you want the camera angle to stop and change. And then you go across one keyframe, change the camera angle to a different angle. And then if you play it, it automatically changes to a different angle.
Do you save a separate scene file for each camera?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Do you save a separate scene file for each camera, or is the whole movie taking place within a single Cinema 4D file?
I split different Cinema 4D files into different scenes. So like, for example, this could be scene 1, and then I would, when it's completely done, I render it and go to a completely different scene and then start animating on that. So it's all separate. I do scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, etc.
Can you describe the process for the court of changing cameras within the same file?
I believe I've already stated that with your answer. I mean, with your question. To do with keyframes, like you have the actual camera, which has its settings that you can play around and change with. And you have the keyframes, which allow you to basically put the camera where you want to put it, how you want to put it, angle wise, if you want it to move slowly, or if you want to just to cut quickly, or different sort of angles. I mean, I'm not too sure else how I can explain that to you.
That's fine. You don't need to share the screen anymore, Mr. Posantis. Ms. Bone, are you familiar with the term rendering?
Yes,
Do you render each scene after you animate it?
once the scene is completed, I do render it, yes.
Can you describe to the court what is rendering?
So rendering is basically once you've animated your product or whatever you have, is if you got, say, a scene that's 0 frames to 1000, you would go up to the render settings in Cinema 4D, and you would go into the settings and put the amount of frames you want to be done, click the browse to save it in a specific folder and name that scene 1. And then once those settings are saved, you go into the render tab, and you, I think it's it says the render button. I can't quite remember what it is. It's like a shape. There's 3 different separate ones, and I remember clicking the first one at the top, which will render the entire scene, a picture view. That's it. It renders it to picture view. So it will take however long it will take to render that scene into like separate TIFFs, which are like PNGs. And then if you put it in an editing program, you check mark that little box that says it to make it come together, and it goes into the editing program, and it shows like the entire scene as an animation.
Do you sometimes add any rendering effects?
Could you give that in more detail or expand your question?
All right, well, if you could describe for me, do you use any rendering effects? And if you could give me a name for what they are, which ones?
I'm still not understanding your question. Rendering effects, I'm not understanding. Are you talking about like particles or explosions and stuff like that?
We'll come back to that one. How do you send a Cinema 4D file for rendering if you're not going to render it on your computer?
I would send the entire file to either, I believe I send it to the person I want to send it to. So like if it's Cinema 4D, I can either save that as a rare folder, I think it was, and send it to the person that I need it rendered with all the textures in it.
Is there a special way to save a file that you need to send to another computer for rendering purposes? Or do you just send the Cinema 4D file?
I send the Cinema 4D file and all the textures with it.
Regarding the editing process, do you use any software for the editing process except Cinema 4D?
When it comes to editing the actual video, it is used with Adobe Premiere.
Can you tell us what type of effects that you utilize during the editing process, if any?
I'm not too sure I understand. What I do in an editing program is I add music and sounds to make the finishing product.
Do you add any other creativity other than sound and music during the editing process?
Not that I can think of, no. As I'm saying now, specifically from recent years, I don't use an editing program for effects, but in the past I might have, but I can't quite remember.
Do you remember during my deposition of you, I asked you if you knew what third-party plugins were, and you said you didn't know?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you use any third-party plugins during the editing process?
Well, I recently found out, yes, I do, because the Turbulence FD was a plugin that I actually had no idea which was a plugin because it looked like it was in the actual Cinema 4D program. That was something that Brian helped me get installed on my computer. So.
And when did you come to this realization about the Turbulence 4D issue?
I can't remember. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on up here, and I'm trying to stay focused. So.
Do you recall the last time that you used Turbulence 4D for your animation?
I had to prepare a video for the deposition of your expert.
And
to
prior to, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I apologize.
Prior to March of 2022, when was the last time that you recall using Turbulence 4D for animation?
I hadn't used it for a while. I'll be completely honest with you.
Is a while a few years or
yes,
more?
I would say so. I'd say a few years.
All right. Your Honor, there at this point in time, there are certain videos which are part of Exhibit 4 that I would like for Mr. Posantis to play for the court, and he's got them all keyed up and ready. And then I would just like to ask Ms. Bone some questions. So if you like, I can give you the name of the video, which is identified in Exhibit number 4, and then we can call it 4B, C, and onward, and then I can submit those videos as part of, I guess.
As I said before, I think it's important that the record stays clear. And so if the first one is 4A, so reference them as 4B, 4C, 4D, etc.
I will.
So what, and if you could describe in as much particularity about what it is, and just so it's clear to the court reporter. So 4B is going to be which video?
It's dated March 7, 2022, titled FNAF Security Breach in Minecraft versus Sonic.
Okay, go ahead. Any objection to 4B?
No, Your Honor.
4B is admitted.
Ms. Bohm, do you see the blue fur, which looks straight, but the brown fur looks fuzzier on this animated character?
Yes, I see that.
Can you tell the court how you created that animation? What do you do on your computer?
When it comes to the fur,
Yes.
well, actually, to be honest, it's not actually the animation. I have the fur in all the time. It would be boring if I just had to keep constantly putting fur onto Sonic all over again. So I actually have him saved like as a separate rig. So you click on the actual character and the polygons, and you highlight over which one you want the fur on the specific fur color to be. So say if I wanted all of him to be blue fur, I would cover all of that you see that's blue, and go up to the selection, and there should be an area where it says hair objects, and you can tap fur, and it gives you color options and editing options in the bottom right of the hierarchy, the editing program of the.
Right, in the Cinema 4D program, can you tell us where do you change the thickness of the fur strands? Do you recall the name?
You would do it in the bottom right. Literally, I like I've said, I play around with things, so it would be something to do with the thickness or the thinness of the fur, the amount of the fur. I couldn't really specify because I'm not really, like, when I'm there, I sit in front of the computer, sit in front of Cinema 4D, and just my brain goes to work and plays around with things and does what it wants to do.
Is it fair to say you don't recall the name within Cinema 4D to change the thickness of the fur strands?
I can't think of it at the top of my head now.
Would you agree that fur by definition is shiny white?
Shiny white.
That's where you start, and then you have to go in and make it a different color, correct?
Yes, in the bottom left, it comes up with the fur strands, and you can change the color to that. Yes, and it's already brown usually when I insert it, but this case it's blue and peach color.
And can you tell us, to make the fur the uniform blue, where you go within Cinema 4D, the name to make that happen?
Like I said, I don't know specific names. I just go into the program and select the fur, find what I need to find, and just play around with all the settings. I don't care to look at official names. Like I said, I don't make professional Minecraft animations. These aren't professional. I don't use Cinema 4D professionally. I wouldn't consider myself an expert either. So I'm just telling you, this is how my brain works. It doesn't work like someone else would think it would work, because my brain works differently. So I sit in front of the program and just do everything. It just happens. It's how I process with this sort of thing. I find it hard to explain how to do it when I'm not in front of it doing it.
Mr. Posanis, could you go within Exhibit 4B, the 6-minute 31st mark? Ms. Bohm, how did you create the text that says Roxanne Wolf?
Okay, there is options in the menu where you can drag down the pen icon, I believe, and I think it's a helix or something like that. And you can draw the name like with like a pen, like you're writing on the computer, and change the color of that and the thickness. I believe that's how I did it.
Can you tell us how this text is any different from other text within Cinema 4D?
That text is different because it's been drafted by my actual hand with the mouse, and other texts are like ordinary text, like the Wildcraft watermark. For example, if that was in Cinema 4D, that would be ordinary text that's just been written. This is like handwriting.
Do you recall the name within Cinema 4D that you would have to go to create the text Roxanne Wolf?
I believe it's a helix, like I've said, a spline or a helix or something like that.
All right. Your Honor, I now request Exhibit 4C be admitted into evidence. It is dated March 8th, 2022, titled Portal of Change 4.
Any objection to 4C?
No, Your Honor.
4C is admitted.
If we go to the 16-second mark, Ms. Bone, can you tell me, how did you make that explosion?
I believe that was an overlay.
All right. Did you make this overlay while you were creating the animation?
No, I usually, when it comes to overlays, you can get those online.
All right, so you got this over the internet?
Yes.
And did you create this overlay during the time frame that you were making the video?
I didn't create the overlay, no.
All right, but did you add it before the editing process?
No, I added it during the editing process.
Your Honor, I now ask that 4D be admitted, which is dated February 1st, 2022. Sonic movie in Minecraft.
Any objection to 4D?
No, Your Honor.
4D is admitted.
Ms. Bone, at the 31-second mark, can you tell me, how did you make this lightning bolt that you see?
That lightning bolt there?
Yes.
I believe it was effects again, but I can't quite remember. I can't remember when this specific animation was made. Could you give me a date?
February 1st, 2022.
When that one was made?
Yes, about 2 months ago.
Okay. I believe that was either overlays or editing particle effects. I'm not too sure. I'd have to go way back. But yes, that is definitely one of the effects.
How did you make the sparks?
I think some of them provided are in like presets, like the content browser. I have downloaded some effects I can use in Cinema 4D. So Sparks could have been one of those, and I just edited that, or it could be an overlay, because it does appear to be an overlay I used in the editing program as well.
Did you remember when I was taking your deposition on March 8th, 2022, that you had almost no familiarity with all of the items contained in the content browser?
Well, I will be honest with you, Mr. Capua, that in my deposition, this is all traumatizing, and I had so much going on in my head, and I still do, and I'm just trying my best to do what I can via my knowledge. That's all I'm trying to do.
Going to the 47-second mark in this video, can you tell me, how did you make these light streaks that we see?
Light streaks.
What's the name?
The sky or on Sonic?
On Sonic, the light streaks. What's the name of these light streaks?
Well, I believe I used a volumetric light on him, so they're most likely shadow or light rays.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Going to the 1 minute 37-second mark in the same video, we can see a good Sonic with an energy field. When I say good Sonic, you know which one I'm talking about, the character on the left, right?
Yes.
And around we see some dark smoke. Do you see the dark smoke around
Yes.
good Sonic? How did you do that?
Well, you can make visible lights and smoky lights and all that. So that is most likely a visible light that I used that has moving wind going around, and it has a mixture between a blue light with detail and the black shadowing for detail.
Is that what you recall?
That's what I recall, and that's what I see.
All right. Going to the 9 minute 49-second mark and still in exhibit 4D, we see the character on the right throw an energy ball at Sonic on the left. You see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Can you please tell me how the light is changing? What is the process?
Well, so that is another separate light. So you've got the details and H key frame that you do. You can change the details. So like usually next to certain things, there's the round record button that you can use. So when it comes to details and the size of the light, you can change all that within keyframes. So it's not that difficult to do.
Do you think this is a relatively simple process for you?
For me, yes.
All right, we're going to go to now, Your Honor, Exhibit 4E, which is dated January 18th, 2022. Poppy Playtime versus Mario and Luigi, featuring Huggy Wuggy. We're going to go to the 3-minute, 39-second mark. Can you tell us, Miss Bone, how did you make that black rope stretch? What's the term that's used?
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't actually use this sort of thing much. I had to look at a tutorial for this because it's not something that I'm used to. But I believe it's something to do with cloth. I don't use it a lot and I don't plan on using it a lot. So I did use a tutorial for that. So I can't really remember at the top of my head how to make it wobbly and sort of stretch around. And
Do you know how you made it turn from black to emitting light?
I'm not too sure I understand the question.
Would you see how it's black and now it emits light? Can you describe
Yeah,
for
I
us
see
the
that.
process?
Yeah. You can
What's
have
it-
two separate colors that can be changed. So when you've got that on there and it's like lighting up, when it goes away, you change back to the black color. It's like you can use two different colors within keyframes. I
All
thought you were
right.
talking about how I did the flopping around part with the actual wiring.
Let's go to the 4-minute, 12-second mark. And you see where we have a floor made of tiles,
Yes,
and then you see there are blood stains on these tiles.
yes.
How did you make those blood stains on the tile without making blood all over the tile?
They're actually located in the presets. You can have saved effects that are already on there, like I stated before. That is just one of the blood splatters that I used, and I placed it on the tile there.
Are you using a specific material for this process?
I just go into the presets and get the texture. I don't go into all that detail.
Your Honor, is 4E admitted? I don't think it was yet.
It has not been. Any objection to 4E?
No, Your Honor.
4E is admitted.
Going to 4F, which is January 6, 2022, titled Poppy Playtime versus Baldy. I request 4F be admitted into evidence.
Any objection to 4F?
No objection.
4F is admitted.
Going to the 4-minute, 6-second mark, Ms. Bone, how did you do this infrared camera effect?
If I'm completely honest, I believe I might have done that either in the camera settings or in the editing program by changing the actual camera coloring. I'm not so sure what the word is for that, but that's how I did it.
I'm going to go to the 11-minute, 36-second mark and play about 15 seconds for you so you can watch this.
I think I say something in here. It's the Poopy Playtime doll. She's even up. It's the Poopy Playtime doll. She's even uglier in person.
Now, during this process, did you see the moving dark pattern in the room as the character's walking around?
Yeah, that's the reflectance of the light above the room.
How did you animate that dark pattern. What's it called?
Well, like I say, I add the light in there and I go into the hierarchy and I play around with the detail settings, the color, and the basically play around with things in the hierarchy to make it how I would want to make it and render just to check it. It's all about playing around with it. I don't take these things so seriously. I just play around with it.
Moving to 4G, dated December 15, 2021, titled Poppy Playtime Animation in Minecraft. I'm going to go to the 3-minute, 19-second mark. And if you can tell me,
Yeah. I
how
love
did
to
you
gra-
how did you animate this black cable? What's it
Okay.
called?
This is what I was telling you about when it came to tutorials. I had to make this myself, the grab pack, and it was quite difficult. And I don't really use this specific thing that much, but I believe it was cloth I used. But I had to use a tutorial in order to use this properly. And so I'm not very knowledgeable on that specific thing. I just did it when it needed to be done because Poppy Playtime is a game that requires this. So I had to go into YouTube and find a tutorial on how to figure out a cable sort of look.
All right, let's go to 4H.
But
Okay.
was 4G offered?
But we offer 4G into evidence, Your Honor.
And what was that one called again, just so it's clear?
December 15th, 2021, Poppy Playtime Animation in Minecraft.
That's 4G. Any objection to 4G?
No, Your Honor.
4H, what is it called?
December 1st, 2021, titled Piggy Book 2, Chapter 12, Hero Ending.
Any objection to 4H?
No, Your Honor.
4H is admitted.
Ms. Bone, at the 1-minute, 55-second mark, do you see that computer monitor?
Yes.
Did you model this computer monitor?
No, these were actually already in my Cinema 4D presets.
And when you say the presets, where are those located at
So
within
they'll
the
be-
Cinema 4D software?
There'll be like where the hierarchy is, there's this list of like small tabs, sort of like a book where you have like a book tab, and I believe it's under the browser.
All right. I'm going to now refer you to 4I, dated November 19, 2021, called SpongeBob versus Among Us Challenge. I request 4I be admitted into evidence.
No objection.
4I is admitted.
Ms. Bone, at the 28-second mark, how did you model the butterfly nets that Patrick the starfish is holding?
Okay, so I would scale and extend the cuboid for the hand, or the square for the hand, and then I add a separate cube and add a texture to it, which makes the netting, and then I'd group it together to create the netting.
What do you recall? What part of Cinema 4D software that you would complete the process you just described?
Well, like I said, you would go into the shapes at the top. There's options there for you, and you add the cube and stretch it out into the handle, and then you'd add another separate square and go into textures and create a texture for the specific netting, or find a texture that's located in the browser and drag that onto the cube, and then you would connect that to the cube itself and group it and name it the object, name it the butterfly catcher.
All right, I'm going to move now to 4J, please. It's titled November 5, 2021, Sonic Movie in Minecraft. At the 3-minute, 11-second mark, can you describe for us, how did you create this glass breaking?
Okay, first off, you're offering 4J, any objection 4J?
No objection, Your Honor.
4J is admitted.
Could I ask if you could play the effect going off, please?
Yes.
To the Lost Boys for me. To the Lost Boys for me.
Okay, that's an overlay.
When you say overlay, what do you mean?
So when you go into the editing program, you can get overlays of specific things. So say if I wanted the screen to show glass shattering, which is what you see there, all I have to do is find an overlay with like a black background or a green background so that I can screen it to the screen and it will show up as an overlay.
Go to the 8-minute 11-second mark, please. Can you tell us how you created the glaring effect around the circle?
I'm not too sure I see that. Sorry.
Do you see the do you see the circles that the cursor is going over?
Yes.
You see how it's kind of glaring? How did you create that? What did you use within Cinema 4D? What's it called?
Well, to be honest, I think that might be a reflection of the volumetric light, which is shining either shadow rays or light rays, but that's just a guess.
All right. Going to 4I, I'm sorry, K. I apologize. I'll learn the alphabet. 4K, October 29th, 2021. We titled Piggy Book 2 Halloween Movie. We request 4K be admitted.
Any objection to 4K?
No, Your Honor.
4K is admitted.
Please go to the 6-minute 33-second mark. Ms. Bone, did you model the fire extinguisher?
No, the fire extinguisher was also in presets.
Just one moment, I just lost my screen. All right. I'm sorry, could you say your answer one more time? Because I lost you there.
Yeah, that's no worries. I found the fire extinguisher in the presets.
Okay. If you could go to the 15-minute 24-second mark.
Thanks.
Can you tell us, how did you make these cubes jump up and then fall to the ground?
I believe that was the emitter. Sorry, I just find that funny. Bear with me. Yeah, I believe that was one of the particle things I used, including on a rigid body, so that the cubes would shatter into pieces. So it's a particle effect using the emitter in the particles tab of Cinema 4D.
All right. We're going to go now to 4L, titled October 20, 2021, Minecraft Piggy Chapter 11 versus Michael Myers. We request 4L be admitted into evidence.
No objection.
4L is admitted.
Let's go to the 8-minute 45-second mark.
Got it.
Ms. Bone, did you model this safe?
No, I did not.
Okay. Now let's take a look at 847 mark. As the head rolls out of the bank safe, how did you make the blood appear on the cube and then on the ground?
Well, like I said, there are blood effects also in the preset options. You can have saved effects on there. So I just added those and placed them on the cube by the safe and the floor.
And let's go to the 9-minute 48-second mark, same exhibit 4L. Can you tell us how did you light up green each one of these buttons?
Well, so originally they would be gray. So like you can switch between color textures when it comes to dragging and dropping. So if I dragged and dropped two colors to a specific circle, if I wanted one color to show, I would keyframe that. And if I wanted the other color to show, I would keyframe that. So if I no longer wanted gray, I would just turn off the gray and turn on the green, which will reveal the green color.
All right. We're now going to look at 4M, dated October 1st, 2021, titled Michael Myers, Halloween Kills versus Classic Sonic Baldy. And I want to go to the 8-second mark. Did you model the tree?
No, I got those online.
All right. And then let's take a look at the 10-minute, 17-second mark. Did you use Turbulence 4D? I'm sorry, did you use Turbulence FD to create the red glow around Evil Sonic?
When was this one created? Sorry.
You're fine. It was October 1st, 2021.
Right. And could you play that again for me, please?
Little Baldy's basics. You're no match for me. In fact, you're no match for anyone. You're just a big waste of space.
I can see what you're saying here. Yes, that was Turbulence FD because this is the full movie, correct? You said it was the movie?
Yes.
Yes, so that would have been Turbulence FD from the previous single episode.
So it's fair to say then that you had earlier testified that you had not used Turbulence FD for many, many years. In fact, you used Turbulence FD back in around October 2021, true?
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Was that 4M that you just, is this 4M or 4?
That was 4M like Mary, Your Honor.
Any objection, 4M?
No, no objection, Your Honor.
4M is admitted.
4N like Nancy, I would like to admit into evidence, which is dated September 23rd, 2021, titled Piggy Book 2, Chapter 10 versus Baldy Sonic Hunt. We request 4N be admitted into
Any
evidence.
objection to 4N?
No objection, Your Honor.
4N is admitted.
Ms. Bowen, how did you create the haze in the background?
If I'm completely honest, I'm not too sure specifically, but I believe that might have been an environment I used.
Going to the 6-minute 39-second mark. Can you tell us, how did you make the particles rotate in a perfect circle? What did you use?
Well, you can specifically, for this one, I believe it was also used with the particles in the emitter, except I used a pyrocluster for that to create the light effect, and then I moved it around into a specific circle.
All right. Going to the 7-minute 48-second mark. Can you tell us, how did you change the spider web's shape?
I believe I scaled that. Like I pinched the middle and scaled it backwards.
Did you use a specific tool or object to do that?
No, you just scale it. There's settings for you to either scale, select, or hover over things.
All right. I'm now going to go to .4.0, and it's going to be titled September 2nd, 2021, Piggy Book 2, Chapter 9 versus Baldy Sonic. We request that 4.0 be admitted into evidence.
No objection.
4-0 is admitted.
And going to the 3-minute 40-second mark. Ms. Bone, can you tell us, where did you get the texture of the cracked wall?
Like I said before, there are textures included in the content browser in the presets. I most likely got it from that.
All right, going to the 10-minute 18-second mark. Can you tell us, how did you create the rotating cylinder with the Roman numerals on them?
I actually have often the same too.
Okay, so like with the cube, like you can add cubes, you can add planes, you can add circles and spheres and stuff. I added, I believe it must have been a cylinder, and split them into 3 and made it into that shape. And then I added the square and scaled it to the shape of like the ones that you see. And I added those to that as well.
All right. I'm going to now refer you to 4P, titled August 27th, 2021, Among Us, the movie versus Sonic and Baldy. I'm referring you to the 45-minute 33-second mark. How did you make the clouds?
So when you insert a physical sky in selection at the top next to all the shapes and stuff, the things that you can choose from, there is an option in the hierarchy, in the lower hierarchy, for you to enable clouds or not have clouds. I just enabled clouds for this animation.
Going to the 1 hour, 4-minute mark. Did you make this image in Cinema 4D?
No, that was Adobe Premiere, I believe.
I'm sorry, Adobe what?
Adobe Premiere, it's the editing program I use after the animation is completely finished.
Ms. Bone, we're having a bit of a time hearing you. If you could talk a little bit louder, it would be much appreciated.
Yes.
Happy,
sorry.
are you going to be finishing with this witness at some point? You said you had 2 hours. We've been going for about 2 hours already.
Yes, Your Honor. I am getting very close to the end. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Capua?
All right, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Bone, I'm going to refer you now to 4Q.
Do we have a 4P? I thought we,
4P was the one we just did, Your Honor, the
Okay.
cloud.
okay, sorry.
Was it admitted in evidence?
I don't think so. Was any objection to 4P?
No, Your Honor.
4P is admitted.
All right, so 4Q is titled 2020, I'm sorry, I'll start over. 4Q is titled February 26, 2021, Piggy Book 2, Chapter 2 versus Baldy Sonic Mario. And Ms. Bone, I refer you to...
Any objection to 4Q?
No, Your Honor.
4Q is admitted.
I'll refer you to the 10-minute 56-second mark.
I didn't hear the name of the video. I apologize.
You're all right. It's February 26, 2021. Piggy Book 2, Chapter 2 versus Baldi, Sonic, Mario.
February 20. Sorry,
February 26, 2021.
February 26th. There we go. So it should be this. I apologize.
You're all right. And we're looking for the 10-minute, 56-second mark.
February 26th. And we're looking at the
10-minute, 56-second mark.
there we go. Thank you.
Ms. Bone, can you tell us, how did you create the glowing effects under the DeLorean automobile?
I believe I used an IES light for that, which is sort of like a spotlight for all 4 of those.
Your Honor, at this time, we'll pass the witness.
All right, why don't we go and take our morning break? Are you going to cross her after this, after the break, Mr. DeBose?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break and we'll reconvene. Just so you kind of know the schedule, we're going to be taking a break probably around 12:40 or so for lunch. So you might want to get a
Thank you,
snack
man.
or something. All right, and we're going to leave the video on.
Dan, you're not muted. Okay.
Okay, let's everybody sign on.
I'm rounding everybody,
Okay.
rounding everybody up. Get everybody back.
Mr. DeBose, Ms. Bone, you'll need to come back on. All right, Ms. Bone, you need to sign back on. Mr. DeBose, do you know if your client's going to sign back on?
I'm not sure where she is right now. Let me,
Are you able to text or anything like that?
let's see. She needs to get back on.
While she's getting back on, let's just, Mr. Capua, are you there?
Your Honor, he's on his way back in.
Sorry, Your Honor, I forgot my glasses.
It's okay. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. It exhibits all of exhibits 4A through Q, I believe is the last one. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Those were all admitted without objection. Is that right, Mr. DuBose?
That's correct.
All right, you may proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. DuBose.
Julia, could you put up Defendant's Exhibit 57, please? And share the screen on that?
Is this Defendant's Exhibit 57 or plaintiff's?
Yeah, Defendant's Exhibit 57. Or if I can share it too. I've got it on my
57. That has not been admitted yet, just FYI.
No. This was a selection of videos that my client prepared for the deposition of Mr. Posentansis. And all these were played during his depositions. And I offer 57. Is there any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, I have multiple objections because these videos were created out of the presence of the court by Ms. Bone. One of the videos created, it was clear, was edited. You could see the cut. I never had an opportunity to cross-examine Ms. Bone on any of these videos. There's no way of knowing how many takes were taken of all of these videos before they were finally created as a deposition exhibit. And I think the best evidence is regarding these videos is that Ms. Bone can testify before you.
Your Honor, these, you will remember that we tried to strike the witness, the expert witness. Your Honor overruled that motion. And in the day before the deposition, Ms. Bone prepared these videos to show how she animates things. And it tells an enormous amount about her technique and everything else. So, you know, if they want to ask questions about these of her, that's
so let me make sure we're on the same page. So this is Exhibit 57. Exhibit 57 is a list of videos. I assume we'll treat this like we did Plaintiff's Exhibit 4, where they played a particular video and then, or do you have a copy of these videos?
Yeah, we have them in a format that is, you know, you don't have to use the link to get them. And those can be put in the court's record.
All right, so if you're going to play those, then you need to provide a copy of the video to the court reporter, and I'll take a look at it, and then we'll just deal with them one at a time. So go ahead and show the first one.
Okay, Julia, can you pull out the first video, my personal character rigging?
I saw him during the deposition.
A second, please.
And don't forget to keep the sound on.
And this will be 57A.
Yes, Your Honor.
And which video is this one?
This is the number 1 on that list, my personal character rigging.
Okay. And is that the length of the video, or is that
Yes.
how long it took her to make it?
No, that's the length of the video. All these were played during the expert's deposition. And
okay. You can play the video, Mr. DuBose.
Yes, Julia, can you give us the video number 1, please? And share screen. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening here. Julia, are you there? I'm calling up for video number 1.
It is video number 1, my personal character again.
Well, you put it up and share screen. Can you do that?
Sorry, I'm trying to, and I don't know why it's not working. Let me try again. It shows I have screen sharing. Do you see anything?
I don't.
I'm gonna, who's sharing the screen for this exhibit 57 here? I'm gonna stop that and then let her try to share now.
Share sound. Here's the video. Do you see it now?
Okay, yes. Do we have the sound?
Let me see.
I'm going to do some rigging
Yes, we have the
of
sound.
a model, and
Okay,
we're going to use Bianca from the Spyro trilogy and import her from an online model. And this is how she comes.
It's good.
As you can see, this is an FBX file which has all the joints in with it. And if they don't have joints in with it, I use OBJ to put into Mixamo. Anyways, this is how it usually comes. And here we go. Okay, so this and this is the body parts for the robe. So I'm gonna have to right click that in group and name that body, because we don't want to use those since they're part of the skin at the moment, because of this skin tag here, which was how I know. So that's how we do that. And then that's straight underneath. So now we've got all of the joints here that we need to be using. Okay, so first I need to locate her pelvis, which is clearly all over the place. Where is it? Okay, that actually looks like the pelvis is highlighted. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's the pelvis. That's the pelvis. So we'll just rename that pelvis, color that icon. Pink, there we go. So that's the pelvis. Now what I have to do now is I have to find, this is the robe, we don't care about that right now. I'm looking for the neck. There's a neck chain here and there's neck, so we need to find which one moves and rotates the neck. So that one sort of does it. What about this one? Nothing happens on that one. And that sort of moves like that. So that moves as well. There's a lot of necky parts here. So all of them sort of move. I think yeah, we'll do that one. So that one there will be named neck because we'll be moving that as the head. And then we will color that red. So I know which one to move in animation. Okay. Right, now that that's done, I'm going to now move the arms and twist the arms. So in order to do that, I have to go down to, I believe it's probably hips for this one. So we'll do the legs first. As you can see, all the joints here, which some of them are connected to the robe. We've got our hip, and if we open all these joints up, it will show where the joints are. So that's connected to the foot. So I need to go up to the hip, which is perfect. And I need to control, click ankle. And then I need to go to character menu at the top and convert, where is it? Convert commands, create IK chain. And that should be perfect. There we go, I see that. And I need to now go to the top where it is and zero out the coordinates. And we could rename this our leg, because this is her leg. And now we're going to see if it bends the correct way, in which it does. Sometimes it doesn't bend the correct way, and you have to go into the skin tag, which I'll show you now, into body, and you just have to locate the correct one and turn off the skin, and then go into the weight tool, shift set bind pose once you've bent it the correct way. But we don't need to do that for this current situation because the leg is bending the correct way, which is good. Just need to make sure Control Z that it's set the way it should be set. And we now go on to do the left leg. So I will find the other leg and do the left leg. Okay, so we've done the R hip, so now we need to go into the L hip and locate the certain ones I need to do the other leg. So do that, Control click, not ball, that, Control L ankle, character, commands, create IK chain, scroll up, click on that, zero it out, and then L leg, and then voila, the leg is bending the right way and it's moving. It's doing exactly what a leg does for anyone. It moves. Okay, now it's time for the arms, and we're going to do the arms now, which are this one and this one here. Her fingers aren't really visible because they're underneath her long robe, so let's see if we can locate the arm joints now. So they should probably be in around Claris area. That sounds sort of familiar where it would be. Yep, and I am correct. That is the case. So let's have a little look in here and see what we've got. Loads of joints, loads of joints. So you have to mess around, locate them. Okay, so that one sort of messes around with the one up there. What does that one do? No, that one doesn't do anything. We've got this one, which is where we would most likely start, and wrist. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so we will probably go from shoulder to wrist, and we will character commands create another IK, and we will rename it our arm because it's the right arm, and then we will go into here and zero the coordinates out again to make sure the axis, which is the green, blue and red arrows, are straight. And now we need to let's see if it'll bend the correct way, in which it is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, bend the correct way. Brilliant, wonderful. Now let's do the next arm. And as you see here, that is the IK expression, which is telling you that there's an IK onto the joint. Okay, let's find the left one now. And we go into here and we do the exact same thing we did with the other one. So I need to find shoulder. Yep, that seems to be the correct one. And control click wrist, character commands, create IK chain, and do the same here. L arm, like so, and make sure to zero everything out. And now we're going to test this arm as well. It seems to be bending the correct way as well, which is perfect, exactly what we want. And Control Z to make sure you go back. Basically, it reverses what you do. Okay, now we need to twist these now. So how we do that is we go back here and we click wrist, and we go to character conversion, convert to nulls, and this will show up here. And this will be our left arm twist, which will twist the arm, and we need to drag that all the way to the top underneath the other nulls. And we're going to do the same. Before anything else, we're going to find the right shoulder and do the same thing, control clicking and convert to nulls, and then we're going to do our arm twist like that, drag it all the way up to join your best friend. Your best friend. And since these are nulls, they need to be dragged behind like that, and you can see the 2 dots are right there. Now what you need to do now is you need to go into the right shoulder, and there is pole vector, and then it shows an object. So where it says right arm twist, you want to drag that in there, and it connects. You can see the pink has just come up, which means it's connected. And now I do the exact same thing to the other one. If I can now locate it, I've just lost it. Okay, there it is. And you click on left shoulder and you drag the left arm twist and you drop it in there like that. And as you see, it's slightly moved, and that's exactly what you want because it's now connected. Okay. Oh, that's a chatting. Okay, now let's see if it works. And it does. The arm's twisting, you can see it on that one, and same with this one. The arms are twisting. It's perfect. That's exactly what you want. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the legs. Don't know why I'm dry throat. Oh, worst time to have a dry throat. Right. Let's find the legs. The legs. Once you're down here, the hippies. Hippies! Hippies! Hippies. Okay. Right. So we are going to click that and carry on. So let's do the same thing we did with the arms. Convert to null. And then find it, which is right there. Our leg twist. And drag it to the top like that. And then do that. Do the same. Nulls. L, leg. Bad at spelling, stupid woman I am. Okay, so we've got that, and voila, you click those two and you drag them out like I was supposed to. Oh, that's funny. And then you go into here and then you click that, and oh, it's just disappeared on me. How dare you! And then you drag that in like that, and it connects. That's what you want. That should have happened in the first place, but you know, trial and error. Okay, there you go. Now it hasn't moved. Oh my god, it worked! Because I'm genius! Yeah. Okay, so that has now made it twist properly. It's twisting properly like so. And voila, you have now made them twist and now moving and ready for animation when it comes to the arms and the legs, which is amazing, darling. Okay. We are now going to click here, shift click, right click these, because they're the controls. And now we are going to group the object and call it controls. Voila, now you have here all the controls you need to move the arms and the legs, and we have already sorted out the neck movement down here with the joint, so that is the character prepared for walking and moving arms. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on the wrist here, because we're now going to use pose morph with making fingers move. But before I do anything, I need to turn this robe off so I know what I'm doing. So go into body and locate where the robe is, and that might be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just turn it off, and you can only see what's underneath the robe, which is exactly what I need because I can see her hands now. So this is perfect. She has nasty looking claws. Look at that. Okay, I never even knew she actually had claws. I thought she was like a human-like animal, but without claws. But let's carry on. Okay, so
Excuse me, Your Honor, for one
you
moment.
want to make sure that you put a pose morph on the wrist because that is where her
I
hand.
can't hear the witness.
I can hear her. Your Honor, can
Well, I'm
you
glad
hear
you
her?
can. I had good volume, but now I can barely hear. Could your IT person please check on the volume for me?
Okay. Julia, check on the volume for him. It's okay with me. I suspect it is your system. But you say it just dropped off?
It dropped off by, say, 40%, 50%.
Yeah, that's gotta be your system because it didn't drop off for me, but I'll have Julie take a look at it.
Jane, seriously?
And that's going to be moving, and it will allow you to have all the joints underneath sorted. So I'm going to right click wrist, and I'm going to go into character tags. I think it's character tags. There it is, that dumbbell looking pose morph. And we're going to tick position, go back to basic scale, rotation, points, UV, user data, and the hierarchy. The hierarchy allows you to move anything underneath the pose morph, which is underneath the wrist here. So that will allow me to move all the fingers with each movement. So for pose 0, we'll name it fist, because we'll make a fist. So that's what we want to do. Right, so we go up to the fingers and we have a little look at what we need to do with the fingers. So fist is at 100%, that's what we want, and now we've got to just locate the correct fingers. So I think we should start with rotating everything apart from the thumb because the thumb goes on top usually. Okay, so this is this finger, which is first, so let's see what happens when I bend it. Wonderful, it bent a little bit, that's perfect. So we want to sort of do that with each finger, and she's only got 4. She's not a human, she's got 4, so that's fine. And then you have to go into the other joint and bend that one slowly. Just sort of make a fist posture, that's what you want, and just take your time with it. Make sure you want to do it the way you want to do it. Like so, and then you have to keep clicking the add button until you're certain you've made the correct fist. Sorry, I lost it there. I lost it there. Okay, let's have a little look here. Let's see what she's doing with the fingers. Okay, she's doing that. Okay, wonderful. So that's sort of like a fist thing. Now I'm just going to knock these down so I've got less to work with and I'm not so overwhelmed, because sometimes it can overwhelm you sometimes. But I take my time with it, and it's fun. So let's do that. Let's put it up a little bit more like that. And so to find the other one, where's that one gone? There it is, gotcha. Okay, now we've got to do the thumb, and we're going to now move the thumb up a little bit, see how we want to have the thumb, and then we can just maybe bend it this way a little bit, like so. So sort of like that. We're getting a fist sort of motion going. I like in that a lot, yeah. Don't have to really do anything much with that one. I'd say probably about there is probably normal for the thumb. But yeah, anyway, this sort of fist motion here, we've sort of done. That is now on pose morph. So what I do now is if I just go to 0, it comes out normal, and then the fist crunches. So if we go into animate, it does the same thing and it's ready for animation. So that's how you do Posemorph for fingers. And if I wanted to, I could add, if we go back into edit, I could I could right click, copy, paste it in there, and then 100% obviously. I'll just do that on both of them. And we'll name this one point, as if she's pointing at something. So how we do that is we keep the fist how it is and we find the pointer. So we're going to go in here and we're going to find the point finger. Ring finger. Is it that one? Let's have a little look. Nope, not that one. Middle finger. No, index finger. There we go, that's the one we want. It's just about locating and finding these things. Okay. So we just sort of point it out like that, or I could actually just go to 0, I think, yeah. And then 0. Yeah. There we go. 0 it out. Zeroing it out can help. There we go. And 0 that one out and 0 that out, and it's a point. It is literally just turned into a point just now, and that is exactly what we want. So now I go into Posemorph, and if I just Posemorph, see, yep, it's going into a point motion. Brilliant. And that's how you move the hands. You just keep doing that and you bend it how you want to bend it and how you want the character to express themselves in an animation, whether pointing or having a fist or just having the hands out like that. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's Posemorph for hands. Okay, so now I'm going to do the eyes and also the Posemorph for the blinking and the open and closing of the mouth. I have activated the polygons for the sphere purposes, which are going to display in quick shading lines in order to show these polygons here. So there's that. So what I'm going to do first is I need to get rid of this white stuff. So I need to just delete that. But I think it's down here. If I Control Z and go back quickly and have a little look, see what we've got here. Yeah, we just delete that and ensure that everything in the eye is deleted, and it seems to be that way, which is perfect. So then we need to go straight back up to here and we have the R eye joint and the left eye joint. This is what we need to use for the eyes itself. So I'm going to add a sphere. Okay, and I am going to need to scale it right down because it is too big. Where is it? Where does the sphere go? Is that it? Just disappeared on me. Okay, well anyway, that's weird. I will add it again because I don't know where it popped off to. Anyways, let me shrink that down. Okay. Perfect, like that. And then I just want to create materials to make it an eye color. So I'll add the white first. And then I'll scroll in and go to the very top where it's sort of like an eye shape. That's what you kind of want. So you're going to make it editable. Click on the polygons. Go to selection at the top left where the arrow is in the circle. And you want to just drag and your mouse around that. Create, put new material, do the black color. And you want to just pop that on like that. And now it's sort of made an eye pupil. And that's what you want for the character, which is perfect. It's exactly what you want. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to drag that down to the actual eye joint. So if I can find that, I will use the right eye first. And then I'm going to go ahead and coordinate them out to 0. And I just need to scale these down to fit the eye and concentrate on the eye. Okay, I'll make it a bit bigger, see how that is. And then we're going to have to adjust the joint to fit inside the eye. So sort of like maybe there, there maybe. Just, you know, you want it perfect. You want it to be sitting perfectly. So that seems to be okay. So we're gonna control drag the sphere down, and we're gonna put it in the left eye as well. And then we are going to zero out the sphere. And then we're going to do the same thing with the joint. We need to drag it back enough where it's behind the eyelids here that are adjusted. Just so it sort of matches the eye itself. So that seems to be about right. Okay, so there are the eyes, which is good, and that's exactly what we need. So now that that's been done, we have to go into the neck and right click the, not right click, we have to go to the character, convert to nulls, drag it under the neck, and we're going to call this eye, left eye. And then we need to middle click because we have to go into the front view and find the left eye joint, which should be around here somewhere. We're going to drag it up to sort of match where the eye is. So I believe it's around there. That's the joint there. It sort of matches between the eye. There's a couple of different ones. So let's see which one's closest to here. Yeah, that one sounds about right. That looks about right there. So that's for the left eye. And then we want to control, drag underneath and call it right eye. And then we want to do the same and drag it over and find the correct eye null. So let's make sure they're similar to one another, in which they appear to be. Okay, and then we need to group these and call them eye controls. And middle click the mouse to here. Okay, and then we need to open these out. So what we need to do now is we need to go into the sphere, and we need to right click the sphere, and then we need to add in a constraint tab. There it is, and we need to do PSR and aim, and we need to do the same for the other sphere, which is connected to the other eye, which is constraint tab, PSR and aim. Now, for the PSR, you need to ensure that the joint is connected to the PSR, so the eye remains where it is on both constraint tabs. Like so. And then in the aim, you want to make sure it's the eye nulls here. So for the RI, you need to make sure that RI is put into the aim. And you need to make sure in the LI that the left eye is put into the constraint. Okay, now we need to locate the axis to make sure it's in the right place. Okay, well this might be a bit more easier if I actually adjusted these eyelids so that I can see the actual pupil. So that's what I'll probably do quickly. Probably should have done that in the first place, but carried away with adding the eyes. Right, so we'll just put that up there for now because that's basically us showing that we need to see the eyes. So we go back into the constraint tab and locate where we can find the pupil. Okay, yeah, so there it is. That's exactly what we need. Y minus Y. But yeah, that is that. And the eyes are actually moving how they should be, like all the characters. Wonderful. Okay, so that's the eyes, and that's how the eyes move. And you can just drag them around with the eye controls null. Okay, and now we're going to do pose morph, which is the blinking and the mouth movements. So we go into neck and we right click the face down here, which is where all of the face features will be. And we right click the face and we go down in here and we find pose morph. And then when we add pose morph, it comes up with this hierarchy box here, and you want to click all of them except for this one and this one. You want hierarchy because it covers everything underneath the post-morph. So it'll cover all of this, and that's what we want because it's connected to the face. All these joints. Okay, so we're going to tag, and for example, what we want to do is we want to make a blink cycle. So we'll rename the first pose blink. Okay, and what we will do, we'll find the upper and lower eyelids. So what we want to do is find the upper lids and bring them down. So upper lid, say lid, not lips. Sounds so weird. Okay, and upper. The upper ones are the ones you want, and you should just drag them down. And if it covers the eyes, you can actually drag them out a little bit so that it actually covers the eyes how you would want it. Okay, and then once you've done that, voila, you've got like a blink going there, which creates the blink. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing with a mouth pose. So I do mouth, and we've got to locate down here her mouth. So her mouth is here. So now we need to find her actual mouth and how that's going to be moving. So we need to scroll down and see what we can see here. We've got jaw, and see what jaw does. And yep, that seems to be the open and close of the mouth. So we're going to open her mouth like that with pose morph selected. And then if we go into pose morph now, you'll see that her mouth opens. So it goes, hi there, my name is Bianca. So that's how you do the mouth and the eyes blinking.
Can you I offer that video. Is it not complete? Where is it
Mr.
still
Bose, I
going?
couldn't hear your question. Could you say it again?
I was moving permission of this video, but I'm not sure it's complete. Let me just.
Yes,
It's that video finished?
the first one, yes. No,
Okay.
this is the second one.
Okay, so yes, that is complete, Your Honor, and I offer it as video exhibit 1, defendant's video exhibit 1.
Do you mean 57A?
Well, that's right, 57A, yes.
Any objection?
Should I play the next one?
No,
Wait,
no,
wait.
no. I need to know if there's an objection, Mr. Capua. You're muted.
Sorry, Your Honor, I said no objection.
All right, 57A is admitted.
Yes, put the next one up, Judy.
No, Mr.
Oh.
DeBose. This is a question and answer. So we just watched this video. Do you have any questions about that video? I'm not just going to let you play all these videos back to back. This is a question and answer format.
Well, these are examples of her doing what she does.
Well,
Okay.
I let it come in, and it was a long video, but okay, if you don't want to ask her questions about it, that's fine, but I'm not going to consider it, assuming that it's not valid if you're not going to have.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'll be glad to. Ms. Bone, did you prepare that video?
Yes, I did.
And how long did it take you to prepare that video?
Well, to be honest, I did a lot of videos in one day. All the videos I gave you, I did in one day. So this one most likely took specifically about half an hour to 40 minutes, I think.
And it is in several pieces, is it not?
Yes.
Okay. Can we now do exhibit 59B, please?
57B.
57B.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm also going to use this model to have as if she's holding something. So I use Espresso for that when I have all my characters that are like Bianca, Baldy, Sonic, those type of characters use Espresso for the wrists to hold certain items, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So this is how I do it. So I need to find the wrist. The wrist. If I can use my eyes. There's a wrist here. So we'll use the right wrist. I think what we'll do is we'll probably end up adding a cube. So right click, go into Cinema 4D tags and click Espresso, and it comes up with this box here. So you'd want to drag the wrist into the left here, and we'll minimize that briefly because now that we've got the Espresso tag in there, it means that you can drag and drop objects into the wrist at hand. So if I had a cube, which is quite big, and shrink it down, for example, I could just drag that up like that and just shrink it to size. If I wanted to color it, I could color it or whatever. So I've got a cube here, and if I want to have the cube added, first I need to group it into a null and call it cube or whatever the item's called, because I then go into the Espresso and I drag the null in, and I go to the red part here, click that, and go to global metrics, and same here with the left side of the blue square, and click global matrix, and then drag the circle onto it, and it connects automatically to the character. Now, I need to ensure that I have the cube where I want it. So for example, say if I wanted it above the robe, let's move it and rotate it the way we would want to have the cube sitting on her. So like that, it's connected to her wrists. So basically that's that. And now if I move her arm, I think it's the right arm, twist it, it's connected, Control Z to make sure it goes back to normal, and go to our arm and up and down. So basically it's literally connected to her arm now, and that's how I have characters hold objects or whatever in which arm I choose by using Espresso.
Ms. Bone, when you do that kind of work, do you go in ahead of time knowing exactly which devices you're going to use, or do you have to look around to find?
Most of the time I just look around to find them, because when I say if I make an animation script, I just go in and do the script however I feel, but I also look around and find things that I feel would be used in the animation. So yes.
Because I noticed in these animations, you seem to be just grabbing things out of the story. Ahead of time, do you know exactly which effects and things you're going to put into your animation?
Could you maybe rephrase that? Sorry, I'm not too sure.
It sort of looks to me like a process where you're putting things together and then you get an idea and you grab it and you put it in. Is that an accurate description of the way you're doing it?
Yes, that would be an accurate description, yes.
You don't have a formal way of doing these videos, is that correct?
Yes, I would say that's correct, yes.
And I've heard you say that sometimes you have to go outside and find new parts because of a special something that you want to do just in that video. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Could we have Exhibit 57C? I offer Exhibit 57B
No objection.
57B is admitted. 57C.
57C, Julia.
So once I've animated the character joints and did everything the way I wanted it to be prepared for an animation, I then have to organize and sort out the model correctly. So I would group the pelvis and I would group it and call it character or care for short because it's short and easy. And I drag that above controls out of the armature, and then I can delete armature because I don't need that anymore. And then after that, get rid of that cube because that's for espresso. We have to add in a end side, which is going to be called Bianca, because this is how I move the actual whole character in the first place. Like Baldi and Sonic, there's always that end side I use for that. We're going to scale it down to size, and then we're going to go to the plane and make it flat on the ground, and we're going to lift it to where the body is, like the center of Bianca's body is, sort of how I would want it. So for example there, maybe scale it down a little bit more to fit her hips. And then I'm going to add the character to Bianca and the controls to Bianca. And there you go. It's easily organized and it's easy to animate with once you've put it in the character. So now we've got the controls and the character with the pelvis and all of the joints, and you've got the IK, the espresso, the pose morph, and that'll be on all the other side of the wrist and all the face features that'll be done. So yeah, that's how I finish a character.
Again, is that the typical way you would go about those particular features on a character?
Yes, it makes it easy and simple to animate. So when I've finished setting up the character, I will need to make it easier to animate. In order to do that, I rename Noel's controls so I can just use those controls and locate the colored joints for the neck and the pelvis to move the body and the neck, which is also located with the pose morph for the face and espresso for the movements of the hand, like I stated in that video.
So then once you've got the character made like that, can you just insert her into a video?
Yes, once it's saved, I can add her to anything.
So do you have an array of characters like that you insert into your videos?
Yes, I would have a file with named models, which will have all the models from Baldi, Sonic, etc., all ready to go and to be placed into another animation. So like to merge it in, basically. So yes.
About how many of those characters do you have?
At the top of my head, I couldn't say, I couldn't remember, but I do have quite a few.
Yeah, more than 20?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay. I offer the exhibit.
57C. Sorry, was that 57C?
Yes, that's 57C.
No objection?
Yes, sir.
All right, 57C is admitted.
Julia, can you do the next one, please?
Okay, this is how to do lighting effects. So we can add a light, for example. Here we go. So add light. Now, I could make this into a torchlight, like a flamey sort of thing. So what we could do for that is we're gonna need to add a sort of scenery to this. So I'm going to use this cube and shrink it down and make it look like a wall or some sort behind the light. So as you can see there, it's already doing something. So that's pretty cool. But you have to make it a bit bigger, I think, and put it over here. Then we're going to add a floor. I'm going to put it down here as if it's like a floor and there's a building in the way. Okay, so we are going to then, we could change the color to red maybe, or orange. We'll do orange. And we'll make this light, we need to make it visible. Okay, because now we're going to go into the visibility and we're going to play around with the inner and outer settings to my liking. There we are, like that. So before I do anything, I'm going to render this to see what it looks like. It's very, very big. So we're going to have to shrink that down. And there you can see it's starting to come out to be the way it should. Let's see what that does. So you've got a little glow thing there. And details is used for the outside. So we have here fallout. We need to take that to linear. And that will control where the light goes in and out. So 3, for example. We can go from 500 down, because as you can see here, the light is not showing on the cube, and the more you do it, it shows on the cube and in the room. So if I render that, it's now shining, and you can see that little visible light there. And what we can do is we can add some noise to this, so make that visible. We could click wavy turbulence, and this texture here shows you the texture that it will be. And then the brightness and contrast needs to change, so we have more contrast to make it brighter and make the brightness lower. So let's see what happens if I do that. And the reason that can't be seen is because the visibility scale is quite high. So let's go 5 centimeters to 5 centimeters and 5 centimeters on the visibility and see what happens there. And there you go, you can see that cloud sort of structure there, which is really good. It is starting to look like some sort of flame. And the wind down here is used for in what area you want it to go, and it actually moves. So when it's like rendered like a 50 frame scene, it will show a moving light torch object or whatever you want to create. Okay, so we could even make this brighter and make the not the velocity, the brightness lower, and then it shows more of the texture, which is really good. And visibility, we change the brightness. We can change the brightness of that to whatever we like. So for example, I could change that to 250, and it's starting to get brighter, you see. So that's sort of how a torch effect would be in a room, for example. And there you go. Also, I could potentially add a figure in here. There it is. It's pretty big, so we'll scale that. There's a scale tab in the menu. We just scale the person down, and we can just drop him, Alt, right click and drag into the program, obviously. And we will have him standing in front of the light. And if I render it, there is no shadow. However, if I go to light and go into general, you can actually add a shadow, and that should give you a shadow. So that's how you deal with light effects when it comes to torches and lights being in a room and etc.
I offer exhibit 57D.
No objection.
57D is admitted.
Why did you make this particular video?
Well, my animations have many lighting effects, and this was just one of the examples I provided to say that I know how to do it and how it works. When it comes to specific lights that I like to do for specific scenes or animations that I may have done in the past, I play around with whatever lights I choose, the texture, the noise, the color, the speed of the animation of the wind, that sort of thing. This is why I provided this video as well.
So was it to show your particular skills in an area?
Well, it's just to show how I make a light, basically, how I make lights and how I want to have something specific. So if I had a light in a specific scene for an animation, I would be doing that after the actual animation's been done and do the actual effects. last, because I take time with that to make it to my satisfaction, if that makes sense.
Okay. Julia, could you put up, and the title of that video on exhibit 57 is quick lighting. Julia, would you put up the next basic particles, number 5, which will be exhibit 57E?
Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I do particles and stuff. So for clouds or magical sort of things, I use an emitter particle. So what I do is I first go into where the physical sky would be, but to put in an environment in order to make this effect possible. I go into simulate particles, emitter, I add the emitter, and let's just change the rotation to 90 degrees to make it look up. So when we have the emitter, make sure to show objects so that when it shoots up particles, that's when we'll be able to see. We're going to create, and we have to import both pyrocluster volume tracer and pyrocluster shaders. And I will show you where I put those. We do shader pyrocluster, and you put that pyrocluster arrow looking vortex thing and you drag that into the environment. And then you have to make sure that the pyrocluster, which is clicked, is changed to user and anywhere between 20 to 25 to 50 on the world step size so that it renders quicker when you're checking render. You then add the actual texture to the actual emitter so that you know what you're looking at. So at the moment this will probably be a white cloud, so I have to click play, and it's showing the particles, and now if I render that it will show some cloud movement. So this is how it always starts. So I'll probably end up like making 100 frames or something just to get this going. And the emitter has all the controls. So here you've got the amount of cloud or whatever you have in render and editor, and the visibility, the start and the stop when you want it to start and stop, and the lifetime of the particles from like when it starts and if it stops at a certain amount of frames. So we could have it at 35, the amount of the cloud, which will literally, you can see it right there, it's probably going to be quite a lot. As you can see there, it's like smoke, and that's how much we've just put in there. We've also got, so start and stop is just the length of it. So if I put 50 here, it will literally start at 0 and it will stop at 50, like it'll stop coming out as you've just seen there. And if I click play, it no longer comes out. So as you can see there, that's how it goes. So we'll keep it at 100 for now. Lifetime is the amount where it stops. So say if I had 20 frames, it will play and it will just stop at the top there. You can see this part here is stopped. However, if I changed it to 60, it will carry on going until it hits 60 frames. So that's sort of how that works. And you can use the emitter to rotate the cloud, and you can go into the pyrocluster to change the settings on that. So you can change the way it looks, you can change the color, the age color, all that sort of thing. So I could make this an orange cloud, for example, and I could mix different sort of colors. So there you go. So now that if I click play from the beginning and pause, it's an orangey white cloud, and it ages white with time. But if I wanted to, I could potentially change it to black instead. See if I can get rid of that one. Yep, I can. Okay, I think that's the only one. And then if I render it now, it no longer has the white because it's darkening out like a shadow. So that's how I make effects like magic and everything. I could even choose to rotate it, put frames in like that and just rotate the emitter and it literally changes to, you know, how I want it. I could change the amount of frames so I can visibly see what's happening with this effect, and if I do that it will spin around to how I would want it, and it's basically showing a fire. So that's how I would do something like a fire effect. So that's how I use particles with Pyrocluster as a cloud and as a fire effect. I'm now going to delete those because I'm now going to show you another way I can use effects. Okay, so I go into particles again and I add the emitter and I rotate it how I want to rotate it. But first I need to turn that off so I don't cause any keyframes to animate. Okay, so we have got the particles here, and I want to make sure it still continues to show objects for this reason. You get to see it as well and see how many you have. And we're going to change this to 50, the birth rate, because we want a couple more. And we're going to add a cube. And I'm going to shrink this cube down to a particle size. And then I'm going to drag that on the emitter. And as you see, it's actually just changed, like it's sort of like a waterfall or a pool of blood or something, or whatever you want it to be. And I can color that. I could go into materials and change it to red, for example, and just drag it on there. And there you go, you've got red cubes. That's another way I use the program to make particles. So there you go, that is how I literally do particles. I could even, if I wanted to, I could literally even go to the texture and add a reflectant on there, which will make it reflect sort of like water. So this is kind of, it looks like that at the moment because you need to edit and adjust the reflectance. So like you've got it on 11% and it sort of reflects there. So that's what it would reflect in real sky or something. So when you render it, it will reflect something. If there were more things in the room, it would reflect that. Okay, so that's how you do particles with cubes or squares and clouds and different methods of particles.
I offer Exhibit 57E.
No objection.
57E is admitted.
So you called it particles, and look, that seems like a generic term. I don't know exactly what you mean about particles.
Okay, so that specifically particles is like effects. So say if I wanted to create a raining Minecraft blocks, for example, I would just add those cubes and scale it to be bigger for the scene, and then drag the cube and shrink it to the size of rain, for example, change the color to blue and add the reflectance, and then it would rain. So it gives you effects for a specific animation. That's what particles are used for.
Oh, so particles are when you want in your animation something that there is a bunch of something. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Like
yes.
rainwater or, yeah, okay. Julia, can you give us number 6, which is Turbulence FD Old Style Fire and Magic, which will be Exhibit 57F.
Any objection to 57F?
No, Your Honor.
57F is admitted.
Okay, so this is about Turbulence FD, which is actually a plugin to Cinema 4D that was installed into my programs for previous animations, which I no longer use anymore. And I didn't actually know it was a plugin, so I just thought it was a part of the program because it was literally up here under plugins. And this is when Brian, he actually put that on here for me and installed it. So I learned something new today. It was actually a plugin this whole time. So this is how I used to use Turbulence FD for my animations. So I used to go into plugins and go into the actual Turbulence FD Cinema 4D tag here and click on container, and this will do the detail of the actual fire or whatever you choose to have. And I'm just going to make it bigger so that whatever I put in here will be the object for the fire. So make it a bit bigger, and I could add a cylinder in there, for example, and we'll rotate the cylinder down to the side, and we'll make sure it's in the box, like so, how we would want it to be, or we could even scale it down if we didn't want it, or increase it, or whatever we'd like to do. And then we'd go into the cylinder, right click cylinder, and go into the turbulent safety tag and do the emitter on that. And then we need to go down to the value of the temperature value, which will make the fire possible. Change it to 1, just 1. 0 is nothing, 1 is fire showing up. Now you can't see anything yet because I need to add the plugin simulation window. And I need to change the cache down here, or cache, to interactive and click start. And then it comes straight up with the fire and you can now edit it. Okay. So now you see here that it's not officially covering the whole thing. All you have to do with that is make sure you're still in the emitter, and you can change the radius to 3, for example, and you've just slightly seen a change and it's not fully covered. So 5 maybe. There you go. You've got 5 there. So basically the whole thing is now covered in fire. Okay. So you go into the container and you can change the voxel size with all the detail to whatever you like. I like to keep it at 4, I believe. It was about 4 when I kept it at, and it just sort of changes. You see it's all changed up here. And you go into simulation and you can go down into the temperature. And the temperature half-life, it changes the size of the flame. So for example, if I put it down to 2, it will be really small, like that. Or if I changed it to 10, it would be a lot higher. So for now, let's keep it to 3, for example. So now we have a flame that is burning 3. Beyonce, it's a weird word, or Beyonce. I'm not very good at this is just a really complicated word. Beyonce. Yeah, that does the speed of the actual flame. So if I changed it to 300, it would be really fast. Or if I changed it to 50, it would be a bit slow, like really slow. You can see the difference it's done in the flame. So let's do 100. And the direction is basically where the flame's going to go. So if it's 0 on all of them, it stays just where the log is. If you do 1 here, it will go behind. It's the different coordinates of the actual object. So that could be like a jet engine. Or if I wanted it to be a flame, I keep it as 1 on the top, which is the Y angle. You can see down here, it shows you the coordinate angles. So we'll keep it as the fiery one for now. We use vorticity for the noise. So what's going to happen is if I put 10, it shows you how many waves there are. Like you can see how wavy and fiery that really is starting to look. So I guess I could keep it down to 5 and knock it down a little. So you still got a flamey look there. So that's that. And if I wanted to, when it comes to saving the actual flame effect as an asset to an animation, if you want it a different frame, so I could have it start at 25 and end at 100. So that's set to start at 25 and end at 100 when I'm ready to use it. And then to change the actual effect to make it look like fire, you go into the viewport preview on the Turbulence FD container that's still highlighted, and you use the shader option. And then you click on fire shader. And there you are, you literally have fire. That is looking like fire to me. Real good fire. Anyway, so once you've done the time and when you're happy with the flame or whatever, you can just go into the rendering option. And if you aren't happy with the color, you can go into the color down here on rendering and click edit. And you can either change any of these, or you could load preset and click on one of these. So if I'm not happy with that being that sort of fire, I could click flame 6 here and it will change into this sort of fire. And I actually quite like that. And I can always adjust the color to a different color if I'm not happy with certain colors up here. So to save it, we go to container, we go into cache here and simulation caches, and we go into the browse, and we have to locate the folder we want to use. In this case, I put FD, and then we'll select that folder, and it does come up sometimes with others in the box. If you don't want them, you can just delete them and create new. And then you use this simulating turbulence FD container window, you stop it, you have to change that to cache, and then you click start, and it's automatically saving it for you. Now wait for that to save. Okay, and that's saved, so we click continue and get rid of it, because now when we go back to 0 and press play, it starts at 20 and it will end at the 100 mark. And then if I go back into the middle and click render, boom, you've got your flame right there rendered, ready to go.
So is that an effect you use frequently?
Not anymore, no. I used to use Turbulence FD in my animations, but I did stop using it around probably 2017, 2018, I believe.
So let's move. Have I moved the admission of?
5F is admitted.
Okay, and then let's go on to the next, and it's called quick fractures. Julia, if you bring that up, it's number 7. It's a short one, 2 minutes.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the vernal fracture, which is an object being shattered into pieces and such. So we'll go to MoGraph and we'll go to vernal fracture. Let's add a cube, for example, and drag the cube into the vernal fracture, which will come up with all these colorful pieces. And then you go to vernal fracture, and then you find the simulation tags and click rigid body. And rigid body allows it to shatter into pieces. So if we go to dynamics, trigger is immediately, and the collision, the size increment is how big the explosion is. So for example, we could do 5, and 5 will show a small explosion. If we go back to 0 and do 20, it will do a bigger explosion, and so on. So what we can also do is we can add a second cube to this, like a separate second cube, resize it, and we can move it over here. So we'll want to move it way back for this, because we're going to try out a collision. And we're going to right click the cube. We're going to add a collision body on it. And then we're going to go to vernal fracture, and we're going to go to the trigger and click on collision. That way, when we go into the keyframes and get the cube and then drag the cube into the vernal fracture object, it should shatter into pieces. Like so, as you've just seen there. And I'm just going to play that again. And it just shattered into pieces because it hit on collision. And that's how I use vernal fracture.
I offer exhibit, what's that going to be, G?
That's G. 57G is admitted.
Do you use that fracture effect frequently?
Yes, I would say I do.
What kind of situations do you use it in?
Well, say if, for example, if I had, I believe it was one where I had Sonic in this big giant castle scene when he was getting thrown across, and he hit this part of the castle when it shattered on collision. So as I showed you there, I covered over the polygons for the specific area I wanted shattered and put vernal fracture on it and did on collision. So that would be one scene I would use it for. If someone was to smash into something or punch a block, it would shatter into pieces.
Julia, could you put on basic fur, which will be 57? Gee,
This is
okay.
how I add fur to the object or area of my choice on a sphere, for example. We'll do a sphere. I'll make it editable first, and I have to click on polygons. So say if I want a section of this sphere to be having fur on instead of the whole thing, I would have to go on here onto polygons after making the sphere editable, and I would select, say, these 9 squares. Once they're selected, I go simulate to hair objects and click on fur, and there you go. Where you've highlighted is only where the fur is going to be. And if you click render, it renders the fur as brown. And you can easily change the color. As you can see, you've got options here. So I could change it to blue, any kind of blue, and then you click render and there you go. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog blue. And that's how I make Sonic's fur. I just go over his character and hit on the polygons and highlight where I wanted his fur to be, and there you go. That's how you add fur. But if I wanted to have this sphere but not have the polygons, I can always come out of the polygons and just click the whole thing. If I wanted the whole thing to have fur on it, you just go on there and you go into objects and click fur, and it literally covers the whole thing. So now it has brown fur bits all over. And that's how I basically do fur.
I offer exhibit 57H.
No objection.
57H is admitted.
It looks like you may not need to use that fur very often, because don't you have most of your characters with fur already created?
Yes. If I believe I wanted to have a character with fur on, I would just add fur onto them. So like Sonic, for example, Sonic has fur on him. This is related to the fur on Sonic and his body and how I did that.
Okay, let's go on to 7I, which is importing Minecraft map into Cinema 4D, adding water saved features, saved texture.
I'm now going to import a Minecraft map into Cinema 4D using Mineways. So I have Minecraft worlds on Mineways. So this is how we do it. We click on Mineways, the updated version that we have, and it comes up with this box here, and you go to File, you open a world, and these worlds here are the worlds I have in the actual Minecraft game. So I could click on New World, for example, and it shows up with this patch of Minecraft world. Okay, so in order to get this, we right click and drag across the amount of the world that we want, and we click yes because that's what we want, and it should usually automatically do it for you, but you can adjust the amount of depth you want. As long as it covers to a light purple, it should be fine. I'm going to stick to 50, and the height adjusts the height, so basically that's the underground, and this is going to the overground. So we want to make sure that we have pretty much everything on the overground, so I'd say anywhere between 185. So that's what we'll do, and then we go File, we go to Export for rendering, okay, and I could go into Exported Worlds and just save it in here, call it world, we'll just call it world. I like to do it in capital letters. And then usually this is fine, I never really adjust these settings, so just click OK, and this will tell you that it's rendering, shouldn't take long. It has now asking me if I want to have stats continue to be displayed on the export session, which I do, so yes, and now it's exported. So now I come out of this, go into Cinema 4D, go File, Merge, not that button, File, Merge, and then I need to go into the exported worlds and find the world. So we've got world, and all these different things. We want the one that has the cube on it, the really thick cube, which is the actual world. And we'll want to make sure that the scale is in meters because it's a very big world. So you click OK. And wait for it to load. Now it's all black, and this is normal because when you have a world like this, after zooming in and out, figure where you want to put it, you have to go into these materials and you have to click the first one and then shift click the last one and go to basic color. There it is. And you need to go to the 3 dots on the side of texture, and I need to find it here. So this one here is what we need. We need the one that has the black shadow underneath, and we're going to open that and click yes. We also need to ensure that this says none instead of MIP, because otherwise it will look pixelated and weird because this is a blocky Minecraft world. And once that is done, we need to go to basic, we need to add alpha, and we need to do the same thing with alpha but with the white underneath. Not this one, the white one. Click OK, yes, and also do none. As you can see, the grass did something there. So now if we zoom in and I click render, it now renders the Minecraft world how it's supposed to look. And that's how you import a Minecraft world into Cinema 4D with Mineways. Now the water here, I can also change the texture of that if I wanted to something else. So I could go into create, go into load materials, because I do have some materials, and I'll need to locate the textures. So I'll go models for that, texture, and it should be somewhere down here, which is this one, I think. Yep, and here's the water effect. And I click on that, drag it onto the water, and if I click render, there's your water effect. Just here, how you want it. And that's how you have water. If I wanted it to look different, I could always go into the material and have a look at the strength of the bump and change the strength. As you can see, it's changed, but I have to ensure the displacement is the same. So let's have a quick look. I changed it to 56, so let's change that to 56 as well. So you can always change textures, mess around with them and see what happens. So now it's all more rigid looking and different. So that's what you can do, but we'll probably go back down to 0 because this is a calm river, so we want it to be 0 so it looks more like a bubble. Now see what happens. And there you go, it's clear, as if there's no wind. But yeah, you'd probably want it around somewhere like 13 maybe. It's just guessing, just playing around with it. And yeah, look, see, you've got water. And that's how you change water. And how you create water as well. You can add textures and adjust the bump, displacement and color. You can also go into editor and click animate preview, which actually when you're playing it actually shows you what the water does and what it looks like moving wise, which is quite cool.
For exhibit 57I.
No objection.
57I is admitted. Let's go ahead and take our lunch break. We're going to take a little bit longer one today. We're going to reconvene at 2 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn off the Zoom. Just go ahead.
Honor, could I just say something, please? Your stream has been compromised. There's a lot of haters in your stream, and I think it's been tweeted out on an account with 40,000 people. They're bullying Holly in the chat. I've already alerted Rhonda. I just wanted to make you aware of that, Your Honor.
I don't know who was speaking, but if you guys want me to turn off the YouTube, I just want to point out I'm here at the courthouse, and so anybody can come and watch this trial at the courthouse. So I don't have there's nothing even slightly. The Office of Court Administration at one point had suggested we put this on YouTube to give people an opportunity to watch it if they can't actually get into the courthouse, but people can actually come and watch this trial live now if they wanted to in person. And so does anyone object to me just shutting down the YouTube, or does anybody want me to keep that up? I don't really have a strong opinion.
Your Honor, I'm fine with you keeping it up because I know some people who could not make it to the courthouse are watching it.
Yeah, I prefer to keep it up.
Okay. All righty, we're going to end the Zoom right now and the YouTube.
Your Honor, we're ready. I'm just
Okay.
getting a little technical.
All right, Mr. Bose, you may proceed.
Julia, would you pull up Exhibit 2?
Exhibit 2, defendant's Exhibit 2 has not been admitted yet.
That's correct.
Excuse me, do you mean a PDF exhibit or a video exhibit?
Oh, no, the exhibit, not video.
Okay, give me just a second, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to move along, guys.
What's the problem, Julia?
It is in a different folder. I'm trying to get it to this computer. I'm gonna need a minute.
Okay. I can ask a couple of questions here. What is Aegis?
Aegis is a separate website I use for copyright claims. I connect with Google with YouTube. That is that Freedom gave to me or gave access for.
So how do things get entered into the Aegis system?
Could you rephrase that question?
Who puts the entries into the Aegis system?
I believe there are multiple.
Well, no. What person puts the data in there?
The
I
person
mean,
that has
it's
the
you, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is.
Objection, Your Honor. Your Honor,
I'm
I'm an objection to the leading. He's just tainted her testimony.
Well,
Basically stated what she needed to answer the question to.
Just stay and rephrase.
okay. Who puts the information into Aegis?
Like the Aegis account, you mean like separate accounts?
Yeah.
I'm not understanding, Eugene. Like,
Well, then we'll just have to. When do you if you are posting a video on YouTube, does Aegis have any participation in that process?
I'm going to
well,
object to
yeah.
the form of the question. A proper predicate has not been laid that she knows the processes of Aegis.
Ms. Bone, only if you answer if you know the answer.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, everything's going on around me. I'm not.
Okay, so when you are posting a new video on YouTube, how do you use Aegis?
Okay, so when it comes to me uploading a video to YouTube, if it's a new video, I copy the URL to that and go into the claims page on Aegis and send it to Aegis for review to say that it's my video, and any other people using it, it will recognize my video and link it together, sort of thing. That's
Okay.
how I can explain it.
So are you saying that anytime you upload to YouTube, it goes through Aegis? Is that correct?
When you upload to YouTube, yes, it does go through Aegis. If the videos are already on Aegis, you have to like copy and paste the URL and leave it under review first, and then they verify it through Google and YouTube, I believe, before placing it in your Aegis account. That's how I'm understanding it.
So are all your videos on the Aegis website?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And we'll have some questions as soon as we get the document up.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Exhibit 2. And can you show us, let's just go to that first entry under it. It says, by the way, it says 551 total videos. Is that the number of videos that you have created and uploaded?
Yes, on all channels, yes.
Okay. So Julia, can you show the upper left-hand corner there? Okay. Where it says, okay, top, that's it. Bring it down a little. It says Holly Bone created.
Your Honor, I'm objective. He's going to start reciting from this exhibit, which has not been admitted into evidence.
Okay.
And it's not been authenticated. There's not been a proper predicate laid, no business record affidavit attached to it.
Well, is the information that's on that page all information that you have provided to Aegis?
Yes.
Okay. So they are, in fact, your business records. Is that correct?
Oh, objection, Your Honor. That's not the way it works. If she has business records, she could have easily filed a business record affidavit. She didn't do it. The document's not admissible.
She's now testifying that it is her business records.
No, sir, it doesn't work that way. She didn't create this document. I'd like to take her on voir dire. I'll ask her if she created these 551 pages and why she did not produce them in response to a discovery request, because I asked her to produce all documents regarding the ownership of all of these videos.
And we produced this in response to your request that you made right after the second TRO was issued, or back then.
You're right. For authentication purposes only, it's still hearsay. She didn't create it. It should not be admissible.
Well,
He's not offered it yet, so at this point, the objection premature.
well, I'm going to offer it as these are her records. She entered all these records in.
At this point, you haven't laid a proper predicate, so the objection is sustained.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Would you, Julia, we bring up Exhibit 13?
13 has been admitted.
And Holly, what is this?
That is my JP reps for Roku and it's for Roku Playworks, the separate platform. We made an agreement with that.
And what was the subject of your agreement with JP Reps?
So they reached out to me by email because they were interested in putting my animations on their platform. And I was interested, so I reached out to them and said that I'm interested, and they organized a call. And they basically are like a separate YouTube platform where they have their own sort of like their own YouTubers, but like on their platform, like they have different videos, etc. So for this specific thing, I had my videos on their platform.
Okay, so they put your videos on their platform, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And that's, if you go to the end, well, it's an electronic signature. It's your signature on this document. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Julia, would you bring up Exhibit 18? And what is Exhibit 18?
Exhibit 18 is the certificate for my private limited company of Wild MC Limited, which is connected to Wildcraft.
And does that corporation receive all the income from Wildcraft?
Yes, it did. Yes.
It did. And what is, would you bring up Exhibit 19? And what is Exhibit 19?
That looks like my tax documents for the Wild MC Limited account.
So the taxes that are paid on the income of from the Wildcraft channel are paid in this corporate return. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And will you bring up Exhibit 30? Do you remember this email exchange?
Yes, I believe I do.
And what do you remember about it?
All I specifically remember about this was that Google had received a subpoena about my YouTube channels, and I was just reaching out, telling them to leave me alone, whoever these people were, because I wasn't too sure what was going on here. But that's all I can remember specifically about this email.
And this was before you were married, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And did Brian tell you anything about this letter you'd gotten from Google?
No, he told me that there was something like in the past to do with this YouTube channel subpoena stuff with these people at the time, but he said it was something to do with like a closed thing, but I didn't go into it. I just said, oh, well, I don't want these people bothering me, so I need to protect my stuff. And so I just went on from there. I don't really remember much about it because I wasn't interested in any drama. So I just Yeah, that's the email there.
So why did you get an email from Google about a subpoena on your on YouTube channel?
I don't know. This is why I had to just figure out and look into it and just tell people to leave me alone, because I don't know what this was about.
But why did the notice go to you and not to somebody else?
Well, it went
Section
to
to form a question that calls for a hearsay response and speculation.
Well, if you know why Google sent you that letter, notice.
Google only sends a subpoena to a channel that is linked to. So obviously it went to me because they're my channels. There's no other explanation.
Right. And okay, and that's did you come to learn who the person was you were communicating with?
Only when I was getting involved with this case.
Okay, and who was that Dan that you were writing to?
Dan White is most likely, he's one of the lawyers for the plaintiffs in his 2016 case.
Okay, and let's take a look at that. Can you roll that exhibit up a little bit to the next page? Okay. You see, he's referring to you as Brian. Oh,
Yes, I do see that.
yeah. Do you have an understanding now why he was doing that, referring to you
No,
as Brian?
I was completely confused. I was like, why is he referring me to Brian? I'm not Brian. I'm a completely different person. Like I felt like I was being told that I don't exist, and that wasn't right. So it did upset me.
Okay, and will you bring up exhibit 39, please? And what is exhibit 39? Or how did 39 get in your hands?
Google emailed me that through my Wildcraft email, and I also received one in the post as well to do with the Wildcraft channel.
And it says that the income, the gross income, was you, doesn't it?
Yes, it says that on there. Yes.
Okay.
What year is this? I can't tell.
2021.
Okay.
Do you have any earlier forms from Google on income?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. So this is the first time you got this, something like this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you will bring up exhibit 25, please. And what is exhibit 25, Holly?
Exhibit 25, that is the Elite Alliance channel partnership agreement that was signed with my UK business for Wildcraft.
And why did you move from Freedom Family to Elite Alliance?
Freedom were having issues for a while. Shortly after I was locked out of my channels, I wasn't too sure what was going on, but George referred me to Elite Alliance and to sign up with them.
Okay. And they were performing the same function as Freedom Family had been performing for you with George?
Yes.
And if you'll pull up Exhibit 40. So when did you receive this?
I believe this was very shortly after the TRO hearing. Google cut off my Elite Alliance and contacted them to get me cut off of Wildcraft. So that was quite recent.
Okay. So you no longer have any relationship with Elite Alliance, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, and no income.
Okay. Let's pull up Exhibit 24. And what is Exhibit 24?
That is the trademark for my Wildcraft channel and connected to the owner of the Wild MC Limited. So that's to do with my trademark.
Okay. And so why did you get that?
Well, I wanted to be official. I wanted my own trademark. So I just went ahead and got one.
Mm-hmm. So you're taking the business seriously as a business, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
You redirect.
Yes, Your Honor.
And just to kind of hopefully short circuit this a little bit, is there any evidence, written evidence, that I may have missed it, that Holly Bone owned the Futuristic Hub prior to 2019 when the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decision came down? I haven't seen any, but is there any?
We contend, Your Honor, that there is no evidence on that issue, no written evidence on that issue.
Okay. Mr. DeBose, is there any?
No.
Okay. All right. Mr. Capua.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead and do what you're going to do.
All right. Ms. Bone, I'm going to show you an order that was signed by the court on April the 5th. I'll show you page 2 of that order so you can see the court's signature. Signed by the Honorable Martin Hoffman. And going back to page number 1 of this order, it says, "It is therefore ordered that defendant Holly Bone Martin shall electronically transfer all funds in the Halifax, Revolut, and Barclays financial accounts and any other non-disclosed accounts into the registry of the court by 4:30 p.m. Dallas, Texas, USA, Central Daylight Savings Time on April 6, 2022. Do you see what I just read?
Yes, I do.
Are you going to comply with this court order?
I wouldn't be able to pay my bills if I complied with this court order, and I do not agree with it. I have already stated before this hearing that my attorney had to fight against this hearing, so I will not be complying with this at all.
All right. I'll now show you what's been marked. I'm not marked. The second paragraph, it says, it is further ordered that defendant Bone provide the financial account statements for each account at each financial institution referenced in this order for the past 24 months to counsel for judgment creditors by no later than Thursday, April 7th, 2022. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Are you going to comply with this specific order of the court that I just read to you?
I don't think it's fair, so I'm not going to comply.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, before I question the witness on some other matters, I would move that the court hold this witness in contempt of court for her blatant disregard to this court's order that I just read to her.
Bose?
Your Honor, we haven't gotten to 4:30 yet, and I have filed a mandamus with an order to
Mr. DeBose, could you speak up, please? I'm having a hard time again hearing you.
Okay, I have filed.
That's much better.
I have filed a mandamus, which is now pending before the Fifth Court of Appeals, also requesting an order staying the judge's order and staying the trial. It is under consideration now. I haven't heard back on it, but I do know it's under consideration. I sent you copies of these things a couple hours ago. And they have been filed and served and accepted in the Court of Appeals. So it seems to me that these that there should be no motions for contempt until the Court of Appeals has an opportunity to act. I have asked for an emergency order, and as I understand it, it's under consideration at this moment.
I mean, we have a procedural issue here, which is Ms. Bone is outside. I have no ability to put her into custody at this point. So I understand what's going on. Let's kind of move on and try to get this trial over with, and then we'll deal with the contempt issue. We'll see what the Court of Appeals does.
Your Honor, we have checked the Court of Appeals website, and we don't see a mandamus filed in this case with the appropriate cause number.
The cause number is 22-305. And you should have in your mailbox copies of the file stamp documents, which were stamped a couple hours ago. And you were one of the parties who was served in that fashion. I also sent you an independent email at about the same time that I filed the document.
Okay.
Mr. DeVos, can you state the cause number for me again?
It's 22-305. I mean, there are a couple zeros. It's 22-00305.
Your Honor, I'll continue to ask questions if that's permissible.
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Bone, was Brian Martin your first and only love in your life?
Marriage-wise or?
Relationship.
Well, I have had previous relationships, but they never lasted. If anything, they lasted a week because I was, well, anyway, if anything, they lasted a week, but I didn't take interest in that sort of thing.
Is it fair to say from age 12 to the present, he has been your only love in your life?
I would say that, yes.
So with that said, would you agree that you would do anything for Brian Martin, including lying to this court that you created all of the videos that you've testified to at this trial?
I would not consider myself a liar, and I wouldn't lie for him, especially in a situation like this. I'm just protecting my assets and my property.
Would you agree that you have aided and assisted Brian Martin in hiding the assets which belong to him? And I'm referring to the videos that are in the Futuristic Hub and Wildcraft channels.
No, I do not agree with you.
Would you agree that you have assisted Brian Martin to hide his assets in your name to keep creditors like my clients from obtaining these videos?
Once again, I don't agree with you.
In exhibit number 51, you stated in your declaration that rendering is a complicated process, correct?
Well, yes, it's one of the longest processes, yes.
But wouldn't you also agree that you're not doing any of the work in rendering? You're basically hitting a computer button and the computer is doing all of the work.
Yes.
On exhibit number 27, page number 1284, you were testifying about some information on the Google subscriber paper, and you would agree, based upon what the judge had said earlier, that it appears that that document was created around 2020, correct?
Well, I'm not too sure, but the dates on there did say some did say 2020, so it could be.
All right. Again,
All right, so I'm going to take a quick break. Our new associate judge just stopped by and I wanted to say hello to her. So we'll take a quick break. I am going to want to talk to the attorneys about that order that was just signed. I do have a question about it. So we'll take a quick break, but we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Capio, do you have anything else?
Just a handful of questions, Your Honor. Pictures of the Ms. Bone, you testified that you had an employer-employee relationship with Mr. Martin, correct?
Yes, I will say that's correct.
All right. How old were you when you had an employer-employee relationship with Mr. Barton?
I believe it's when I first started, so in 2012 through till present.
All right. So when you were about 12 years old, you're telling this court that a 27-year-old man worked for you and he did what you said.
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. DeBose?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Call your next witness.